supporting will never forget.
Yeah, I'm very happy today with very good track, and my bike, this is very fast. Yeah, my first win Speedway Grand Prix. I'm very happy. Thank you, my team, my family, my son, Adam.
24 hours later and the riders would be back in the Olympic Stadium for round 2. The home crowd had only come to see one man on the night, and that was Polish club favourite Maciej Janowski. Janowski, who spent all but 2 seasons of his career in Wrocław colours, dominated his qualification heats and semi-final. In the final, he fought off a strong challenge from club teammate Ty Woffinen to the victory, much to the delight of the partisan crowd.
It's really hard to race on your home track, but today I feel so much focus in my head, and I was ready and prepared for the hard racing.
So the championship looks like this, with Maciej Janowski leading with 38 points from round 1 winner Artem Laguta on 32 points, ahead of Britain's Ty Woffinen by virtue of his win on the opening night. Freddie Lindgren's are 2 points further adrift, with 2019 world champion Bartosz Marslik in 5th. The riders now travel some 225 kilometres northwest of Wrocław to Grozow for another double header of racing, before then travelling to Prague in the Czech Republic, and the final weekend is in Torun. The track is familiar to a lot of riders, as most have raced here in this year's Polish Extraliga Championship. It's the home club to Danish star Niels Christian Iversen, but also to current world champion Bartosz Marslik, who since joining Stal Grozow in 2010 has never raced for anyone else. It was here in 2012 at the Edward Janssart Stadium the young Pole, in front of his home fans, became the youngest rider ever to stand on a World Championship podium at 17 years and 72 days. Hi there, welcome along to the Enya Grozow FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, round 3 of the championship from the Edward Janssart Stadium here in Grozow, this magnificent arena, which makes a welcome return to the Speedway Grand Prix calendar this year, after missing out last year, of course. Well, earlier, these are the scenes as the crowd, riders and officials pay tribute to the 1973 world champion Jerzy Zakiel, who sadly passed away recently. Almost time to go racing then here, and Kelvin Tatum MBE, the 3 times world long track champion and former England World Cup winning speedway skipper, is alongside me. Kelv, reduced capacity tonight, not as busy around the place as we're used to it, of course, but going into round number 3, we'll remind you of the point system, of course, and this is a new system for the 2020 season, and going into the final, it will be 20 for the winner, 18 for second, 16 for third, and 14 for 4th place, and so on down the standings we go. Almost ready to go. Kelv, it's a little bit quieter, but the people that are in the stadium are certainly capable of making plenty of noise.
Yes, they are, and there's no question that this is a proper speedway town, with the statue of Edward Janssart in the high street, which is quite unusual, but and it's the Edward Janssart Stadium, a real hero in these parts. It's a fabulous track. It's great to be back here because there's no doubt that this is one of the better tracks in Poland, and thoroughly looking forward to the 2 nights that we've got.
Absolutely, the standings as they are right now, of course, only the top 6 automatically qualify for next year, of course. And that is something that we need to continue to consider, particularly with the quick-fire rounds that we've got. 2 rounds this weekend, 2 rounds next weekend in Prague as well, then a weekend off, and then we conclude it all in Torun. Heat number 1 is coming up very shortly. Here we go with the first race of round 3 of the World Championship. Anders Thomsen, the wild card, Danish rider, but of course well known in these parts, off 1. Matti Zegar off 2, Patrick Dudek off 3, and Emil Saifutinov in need of points tonight, going off the outside gate. Kelvin Tatum alongside me. A big night for many riders in terms of the context of the title, and indeed automatically qualifying for next year, Kel.
Absolutely right. There's no question that Sayfutunov was disappointing on the second night in Wrocław. Needs a big start here in the opening race. Here we go.
Jesper Steentop from Denmark is our referee, and they're away first. Oh,
Dudek's down, clips the back of Sayfutunov. Also, Thompson's has gone down as well. Zagar survives that. A messy first corner there. Dudek just clipping the back of Sayfutunov on the way into the corner.
Landed awkwardly as well, Kel.
Didn't quite see what happened to Thompson, but it's, you know, an untidy first corner, that's for sure. Unfortunate, very unfortunate.
Yeah, one of those situations where in the first turn of a tight contest, sometimes it can get a little bit messy, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, Sayfutunov made a super start, comes across quite aggressively, which he wanted to do. From the angle we were looking from behind, it couldn't quite see it, but clearly there was contact between himself and Dudek. Concern for both riders on track. Let's keep our fingers crossed that they can get up. Referee Jesper Steentop from Denmark is in charge tonight. He has a decision to make.
Yep, first decision of the night. It was an awkward landing for Patrick, that's for sure. And also for Anders Thompson. Good that he's up and about. That's great news. He
well, he's a fan favourite.
Yeah, rides for these, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been really riding well for them. You know, Smarslik has basically been doing a lot of the hard yards, but there's no doubt that Thompson has been backing him up very well. And not the ideal start as the wild card in front of his home crowd. He'll want to do well. He's ambitious and has grown in stature in recent seasons.
Yeah, UK fans may remember him from his spell with the Peterborough Panthers. And that was in the Championship, the second tier of British Speedway, but he's certainly kicked on in leaps and bounds.
Let's have a look, Nige, because it was difficult to see exactly what happened. Sayfutunov comes across now. Yeah, Dudek just gets a slight push, just runs out around. I think that'll be all four, you know. No real fault by anybody there. Just one of those moments where Thompson just gives Dudek a little push, and Dudek falls awkwardly, doesn't he? Really does. The bike actually leaps the fence. That was quite wild, wasn't it?
Well, the fact that it's gone over the fence, Kelv, is better than it actually landing this side of the fence on Patrick Dudek.
Yeah. Just gets caught up there with Sayfutunov coming there. Hopefully he hasn't been walloped by the bike as it cartwheels over the safety fence. And there's going to be some repairs to that. Probably going to have to take the spare bike if he's in the rerun. Thompson comes across, bit of contact there, pushes him into Sayfutunov, who's made a great start. And then from then on there, he's wrapped up round the handlebar. He's going to be feeling second hand after that. Nasty crash.
Yeah, it worried me as well about the handlebar going into his ribs, and no wonder he looks in quite a bit of discomfort. Thankfully, he's walking away. That's always good news, isn't it, anyway?
Yeah, I'm not sure there'll be an exclusion.
No.
I sense there'll be all four back here, which is good news. We want to see four riders in a race. Just checking him out, taking his time.
I think he's looking back to check on his machinery.
Well, it's disappeared into the first turn crowd. But fortunately, most importantly, it's him. He's okay. And he needs a big night. He's been a little disappointing. Not quite the man of a couple of years ago when he finished, or 3 years ago rather, when he was second in the world. Form at the end, middle part of last season really deserted him. Two teammates chatting away there, Iversen and Thompson, both ride here for Star Grozow. Of course, this had a steelworks here that's shut now. It's no longer in operation, but Star Grozow being led by the world champion, who is nearly single-handedly sort of hauled them into the playoffs in the Extraliga. But Dudek just gingerly feeling a little bit worse for wear, but I get the feeling we will see him in the rerun, Nige.
It is all four back.
Good, that's good news.
It's a question of whether Patrick feels as though he can go in the rerun. I'm sure he will be desperate too. And now Phil Morris, the race director, will be just checking on Patrick before relaying when perhaps the 2 minutes time allowance should be appropriate to go on. Another bike being warmed up, of course, which is totally understandable.
Well, the other bike's probably a bit twisted, isn't it? You know, it was quite a dramatic crash as they went into the first corner. Thompson comes across in front of Zagar and just gets squeezed with Emil Sayfutdinov. But Thompson then just suddenly, inexplicably, just sort of pirouettes out underneath himself as well. Dudek's gone there, and just Thompson just literally swivels round himself. But as you rightly say, Nigel, a touch fortunate the bike is actually clear away from him. There was a moment here where the handlebars are sort of digging in his rib cage. There, as he goes over the handlebar. He'll feel that, that's for sure.
Remember the old days at Exeter and Halifax when you could stand right up to the fence? And if you wondered why that no man's land is there now in Speedway, there's the reason.
Well, health and safety has something to do with that.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Quite right too.
And the safety fence at Exeter in particular was a steel plate. Was quite unforgiving. Yeah, that's quite a wild crash. Not the sort of thing you want in the first 30 metres of the opening race of the Grand Prix. Dudek, though, he shows plenty of character in the past. I'm sure he will again. He's got a smile on his face, which is encouraging. But the clock is ticking, so he'll have to get himself organised for the rerun.
Yes, and Phil Morris keeping his pit crew up to speed with how long is left. It is important to communicate that information for the avoidance of doubt. And Dudek now, remarkably, back on a bike and making his way down the hill, through the tunnel and out onto the track surface. And it's great to see all four riders back, particularly the two that were involved in a spectacular crash which could have resulted in a worse scenario.
They could have done it very easily. They're, you know, particularly Dudek there, the way he fell when he was wrapped up around the handlebars, that could have been an awful lot worse, but fortunately for him, he's on his way back to the tapes. He now needs to get away cleanly here and get some points under his belt, and I'm sure he'll forget about the incident in the first turn. So settling down for the rerun of heat number one, Nigel. Here we go.
Yes, and the same lineup then across the grid for the opening race of the night in the Edward Jansart Stadium, named after a man who used to ride for the Wimbledon Dons in the UK.
Yeah, I used to watch him. I used to watch him as a boy, going up to Plough Lane to watch Eddie Jansach. He was quite a handy rider.
He was. Here we go. Rerun. Finally, we get the Grand Prix underway here. And it looked a little bit nervy from Emil Sayfutdinov on the outside there, but Dudek has picked himself up.
Brilliant.
And he's hit the front already. Superb from the man in the white helmet colour. Second place in red is Anders Thompson, the wild card tonight. And then in blue is Matti Zagar trying to come through. And Emil Sayfutdinov, who made such a good swoop across the outside in the original staging of this race, is trailing at the back.
Zagar coming up the inside of Thompson. That's real neck and neck for second place. Thompson on the outside. Emil Sayfutdinov, the big loser there, didn't make a best of start second time. Dudek, well, this is superb from him. Made a great start from gate 3, spare bike, probably the better bike. Done himself a favour. What a dramatic way to choose his second bike, but he's out in front. He's into the last lap, he's comfortable. Zagar now through into second place. Thompson working hard in third place. Sayfutdinov, well, the Russians' woes continue.
Well, look at the speed that Dudek's got here, and the margin of his victory is so impressive when you consider the crash he was just involved in there. That is a remarkable achievement from Patrick Dudek of Poland. A superb bit of character to show strength and determination there to come through and get that victory in 59.6 seconds in the opening race of the night. Full credit, Patrick Dudek, picking himself up from a very, very nasty-looking crash to get 3 valuable points. And the priority, of course, is to try and get through to the semi-finals. For that, we generally work on a theory of 9 points, 8 borderline, 7 very risky indeed.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And the tapes are up second time. This time, Sayfutdinov just doesn't quite get the jump he was looking for. Finds himself in no man's land on that first corner. All the grip is on the inside. The shortest way is the fastest way in the opening race. Dudek then, the bike digging in and pulling away. Zagar's got speed here. He actually works nicely. Doesn't have to do too much work. He just keeps hugging the inside, gets the better of Thompson, who probably, if he reflects on this ride, probably should have covered that and just allow Zagar to come through. And as hard as the Russian rocket Sayfutdinov tries, he just can't quite land a blow. Good action for second and third with Zagar coming through. A better ride from Zagar, who is already a Grand Prix rider, of course, for next year, qualifying through the challenge. But for Dudek, What a way to pick yourself up after a nasty-looking crash. He's got quite a good limp as well.
Not because of a steel shoe either.
No, it's not. It's the wrong side. It's on the right-hand side. But he's a race winner. Fair play.
Brilliant, Patrick Dudek. Hats off to you. And here we go with heat number 2. And Jason Doyle needs a big night tonight. The world champion 3 years ago is off the inside gate here. There's Maciej Janowski, the man who won round 2 in Wrocław a couple of weeks or so ago now. We have Niels Christian Iversen, who is a home rider here for Grozow, but has only raced in 1 home league meeting in 7 this season in the Extraliga because of his injuries. Doyle off the inside, Martin Vasilik going off gate 2, the Slovakian, Niels Christian Iversen off gate 3 in white, and Maciej Janowski going off the outside in yellow. Interesting subplot in the build-up to this Grand Prix, of course. Anless tyres not used tonight because they are suspended temporarily because of testing proving inconclusive right now, but certainly they're hoping that that will reach a conclusion very soon indeed. So, heat number 2 up and coming here. Which way will this one go? Can that man Jason Doyle make it off gate number 1? Oh, very nervy, edgy start.
Iversen.
Yep.
Iversen and Janowski moving a little bit prematurely on the outside. Their red light coming on immediately. There'll be warnings handed out here. Quite clearly, some nerves jangling, and not the ideal way to start the night. Let's have a look here. Janowski, well, it's actually Iversen that goes first, and then Janowski kind of copies him, although he's not looking at him. Yeah, it's Iversen first, and then Janowski goes as well, but possibly both the 2 lads on the outside will receive warnings for that.
Yeah, and Niels Christian Iversen will be feeling under pressure because of the fact that everybody's saying that he's a Grozow rider. He's a Grozow rider, but only 1 meeting here this season because he's had a shoulder injury, he's had a wrist injury. It's just been a wretched year for Niels Christian Iversen on the injury front. Catalogue
of injuries, hasn't it? And it's been a tough one for him, but he did ride well in Saturday night's Wrocław Grand Prix.
He did, yeah.
And battled his way. He's in 9th place on 14 championship points, so 4 points behind 6th. So to be honest, he's not out of it, and he's got every chance of making the top 6. And he's a Grand Prix winner in the past, so you know, if he can get himself up and running this year, then there's no reason to think that he can't get himself into a Grand Prix qualifying situation. But there's no doubt that he has been badly hampered by some serious injuries. He actually clashed with the world champion Smarslik practicing at this track and prior to the Extraliga starting in June, so not the ideal start. But as you said earlier, Nigel, Jason Doyle, 2017 world champion, had 2 nights to forget in Wrocław. Needs to try and find the key to his speed here tonight, because there's no doubt that he just didn't come up. They just didn't quite click, did they, in Wrocław for either night?
Both riders on the outside on a warning then after that delayed start. Jason Doyle off 1, Martin Vasilik off 2, then it's Iversen, and then it's Janowski. Imagine that, travelling from England, where Niels lives, out to Poland, having to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And when you are allowed out to go and practice,
you have a crash.
You have a crash.
Yeah, not ideal. No. Interesting, just you mentioned about the Anless tyres. Obviously, Janowski won on Anless tyres and got 38 World Championship points. Can't use that tyre tonight. It's suspended, as you rightly described. Interesting to see what sort of performance now, switching back to the Mitas tyre.
He will indeed. Heat number 2 coming up. Second time of asking. And both heats, so far, have needed a rerun for different reasons.
Doyle
had
this
a little
time.
nibble there
And gained an advantage.
He's gained an advantage.
Got to be a red light.
Yep, it is. Right, so 3 of the 4 on a warning.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's very tense, very nervous out there. But I think the replay will be pretty conclusive.
Well, we saw it, and this camera angle's perfect.
Oh, he's lucky not to touch the tapes there, Doyley.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jesper Steentoft, very consistent in his decisions.
Okay, 2 minutes straight on, please.
Yep, and the nod and a warning for Jason Doyle. And Phil Morris, the race director, asking the referee to put the 2 minutes on. The way this is going, might as well just stay here and carry on with the commentary tomorrow.
It's not going smoothly yet. There's no rhythm to the meeting. Everybody's a bit touchy, a bit twitchy. It can happen. Starting is, particularly with the guys that haven't gone so well in Wrocław, they're very keen to get on with it. This man, of course, leading the championship he's got 38 points to 32, so a wonderful weekend for him in front of his home crowd. Never easy doing it in your own backyard. The expectations would have been massive. A few adjustments to Neil's bike there with his crew there with just over a minute to go. I'm sure he'll make it. But Janowski, well, we've seen him in this position before. He can go missing, but he's subsequently, since we saw him in Wrocław, has won his second Polish championship, and he beat Schmarzlik in the final. It was held in Leszno, where we used to go for Grand Prix and a World Cup in the past. So a great achievement. So quite clearly his form is holding, riding strongly as well for Wrocław in the Extraliga. So the signs are good, but if he can, make the final again tonight, well, he will be considered a genuine world champion this year. He could do it. He has the talent, there's no doubt.
3 out of 4 on a warning now. Jason Doyle, Martin Vašilik, the only man without a warning, Niels Christian Iversen and Maciej Janowski. That's your lineup for heat number 2 here then in the third round of the FIM Speedway World Championship for 2020. And back here tomorrow night, of course, for more World Championship action. And then we'll be halfway through the series. And we're back next weekend as well from the Markéta Stadium in Prague, as we now go with heat number 2 at the third time of asking. Green light on. And they're away this time, and going into that first turn, it's a good move from Jason Doyle on the inside gate now. Can he hold that lead this time now? Charging hard down the back straight, Martin Vašilik in blue. Here comes Iversen in the white helmet colour. Man at the back is the series leader, Janowski, and Doyle's under a bit of pressure here. 2 riders behind him closing the door, and Janowski isn't out this yet as he comes through into third. And watch out for Vašilik now, really putting pressure on Jason Doyle.
Well, Janowski's through into third place. Good ride from him. Vašilik's got speed. Doyle super away from the start, but he hasn't pulled away at all, and Vašilik up the inside of him is putting him under lots of pressure. Now Janowski beginning to find a little bit of speed after a disappointing start. Doyle moving wide, Janowski! Oh, they clout now! All of a sudden, up the inside, Vašilik hits the front, Janowski's through into second place. Drama here, Iversen now comes through into third.
Well, Doyle now battling it for third with Niels Christian Iversen, but I'll tell you what, drama in heat number 2, battle to the line, but that was dramatic once again, and poor old Jason Doyle going from first to last, but more importantly than that, avoided a bad crash, because that could have been a catastrophic.
Yeah, I don't know how he stayed on. He'd be desperately disappointed not to get amongst the points, particularly after leading the race. It was really quite wild there. He just moved off the line and found himself in a very vulnerable position. We'll see it again. The charge to the line. Vašilik's got speed. Janowski through into second place, and the charge to the line. And it's Iversen grabs third place. Doyle will be furious about that.
Well, when you looks out, you looks out. And Jason Doyle in the first 2 rounds was not at his best. He's had a couple of weeks to stew on that. And then he made a good start here and was looking good to use all his track craft and knowledge. But then a mistake was made, and he's gone to the back, the Swindon Robins skipper, and it's just not his competition so far this year.
See it again, Nige. This is third time of asking. They all get here together. They're 4 abreast as they get to the first corner. Janowski literally left high and wide in the first corner. He does remarkably well to get back in the race. Out in front, Doyle hits the front, but he hasn't got the speed. They're all queuing up behind him. They're all looking for a way through. Martin Vašilik does it initially. Doyle there, just not driving off the corner to generate the speed. Moves off the line, that leaves the door open, and now Vašilik is very much encouraged by that. Doyle again moving away from the line, that's a mistake. Tries to chop back, does well to stay up, but that allows Janowski, who's come from nowhere. Lots of speed for Janowski. Here is where Doyle just mistimes it. The boys were lucky to stay up right there, that's for sure. Drama in heat number 2.
Vašilik, Janowski, Iversen, Doyle. Bear in mind, Janowski was at the back and then went on to get 2 points. So an interesting race, I think it's fair to say, as we build up to Heat number 3 here now. We have a couple of Danes off the inside 2 gates in Mikko Mikkelsen and Leon Madsen. Then we have Artem Laguta, winner of the opening round, of course. His first ever Grand Prix victory. Mikkelsen, Madsen, Laguta and Ty Woffenden going off the outside gate. And he is the sole British rider in the competition this year. But of course, next season, Robert Lambert, the European champion, makes his way into Grand Prix Speedway. So heat number 3 is coming up.
It is indeed, and Woofenden has a wonderful record here. He's made every final on each visit he's been here, so he'll be looking forward to tonight's action. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, Madsen.
Yeah.
But he's penalised himself, so they may well let this go.
Yep, the lead here then is with Mikko Mikkelsen. It's Artem Laguta in second. Madsen is third ahead of Woofenden, and Laguta will now try and put pressure on Mikko Mikkelsen. Madsen's back in the hunt here, comes through to second, has passed Laguta. Woofenden tries the inside run now. He's good at that, isn't he, Woofenden? He likes the inside line, but this is good stuff here from the man up top. Mikko Mikkelsen in red. Laguta's coming back for more now here.
He is indeed, but out in front, Mikkelsen not fast enough because Madsen's come in, so is Woofenden. Laguta's not out of it as well. Certainly now Mikkelsen just finding a little bit more grip. Madsen showing great speed in second place, riding high and wide, trying to get the momentum, trying to get the speed. Keep your eyes on Madsen.
He's quicker.
Madsen's got speed now, Nige. He's going to really wind it on down the back straight. Now chops to the inside, going to do him now. Dive bombing into turn 3.
Yeah, that's Leon Madsen all over, but here comes Mikkelsen back up the inside. A switch there from Madsen down to the line, and Woofenden wasn't far off either. Great speedway again in the SGP. That was heat number 3, and Mikko Mikkelsen battling away there with his fellow countryman Leon Madsen, and Woofenden in the mix right at the end as we see it here, Kel.
Charge to the line. Madsen ran too wide. Mikkelsen then was able to chop up the inside, tight for second. No, Madsen just hangs on. And Laguta, who was there or thereabouts throughout the 4 laps, just gets denied and fails to score. Of course, a winner on the first night of the season, of course, for World Championship in Wrocław. But, well, Mikkelsen will be delighted with that, and an encouraging ride from Madsen as well.
Wow, drama here this evening, that's for sure. Mikkelsen, Madsen, Woofenden and Laguta.
Quite exciting.
Yeah, plenty to talk about in the opening 3 races here. And heat number 4, once we've completed that, every rider will have had 1 outing here. But Madsen, what was he doing there? He went so early, far too early for a Grand Prix, because we know that the tapes aren't going to go up that quickly.
Jesper Steentoff holding the tapes for a couple of seconds at least. He penalises himself, but he manages to work his way through into second place. Laguta here is in the wrong place, unfortunately for him. He's on the outside, then gets in a little bit of bother there, just kills his momentum. And of course, at this level, if you have to shut the throttle halfway down the straight, there are riders that are just going to come charging through. Woofenden working the inside, very nearly getting the better of Madsen here at the midway point. Mikkelsen pulling a wheelie there. That doesn't really do him too many favours because Madsen is working high and wide. Chops to the inside, but because he's had to go in tight, inevitably his momentum will push him to the outside, and Mikkelsen is then able to chop back and steal the win on the line. That's a good ride for Mikkelsen, the European champion from last year, and 3 points to his name. Nice start for him.
Yeah, Madsen had a lot of speed there, though, didn't he?
Yeah, encouraging.
He did look to have more speed than Mikkelsen.
Yes, that certainly did, and I think if he hadn't have had to go in quite so narrow, probably would have won the race, but Mikkelsen was smart, used his racing brain.
Antonio Lindback needs a big night tonight. He was poor in Wrocław over those 2 nights. He'll be bitterly disappointed with how it went for him there. Max Frick from Australia in his debut full Grand Prix year goes off gate 2 in blue. Freddie Lindgren goes off gate number 3 in white. Another Swedish rider, of course, who is in a good position in the World Championship going into round 3. And then off the outside gate in yellow, it's the local boy, the reigning world champion Bartosz Marslik in his own backyard tonight and tomorrow. I can't believe it's 8 years since that Grand Prix win at 17 years of age. Lindgren had a nibble there. Will Steentoff let it go? Yes, he does, and Marslik chops across brilliantly. Now look at Lindgren trying everything on the inside run with Antonio Lindback at the back right now. It's Max Frick second, then it's Freddie Lindgren in third place, and it's Antonio Lindback at the back once again, but Lindgren had a little nibble, and now he's going to try the inside run on Frick, and he comes through.
Nice ride there from Freddie Lindgren. Frick just straightened up there momentarily, and Lindgren was able to read it nicely. Schmarzlik, well, he fired away out of gate number 4 and is looking very impressive indeed out in front. He knows this place, of course, like the back of his hand. Lindgren will be pleased with this after jumping the start and actually penalising himself, so no red light required. But he's managed to battle his way through into second place. Antonio Limbach just not at the races this year. Schmarzlik, though, flying out in front. He'll be pleased as punch with his opening ride.
Bartosz Schmarzlik made the start, swept across, owns this place. Bartosz Schmarzlik, not literally.
I didn't know that, actually. Did he take out a mortgage?
He owns that race, like he owns this place. It's a modern saying,
I would think the repayments are fairly steep, you know.
It's a modern saying. He owned that race.
Oh, OK.
Yeah.
All right, well...
Like he owns this place.
OK, now
he wins a lot.
Now you've explained it, I understand.
Yeah.
Well done, thank you.
Thanks. Right.
He owned that race, and he flew, and he won it.
Yeah, Bartosz Schmarzlik, the winner, Lindgren second, Max Frick was third, and Artem Laguta and the man in red, Antonio Limbach, was at the back. Winners so far, Schmarzlik, Vasilik, Dudek and Mikkelsen.
Yeah, super opening ride for the world champion. He's been in sparkling form of late, there's no doubt about that. You see the movement there from Freddie Lindgren, a touch fortunate not to touch the tapes. Must have been very close indeed, but he's off balance and is actually last away from the tape, so Steentov doesn't need the need for a rerun. Here we see Frick just momentarily straightening up there, and Freddie Lindgren was able to pounce. You know, a rider of his experience is not going to allow that opportunity to go, and he takes full advantage of it. Meanwhile, Schmarzlik is just serenely going about his business in front, looking good. He's settled nicely and wins in fine style. I'm sure he'll be winning some more races as the evening goes on. So an ideal start for the world champion. And I've got to say, 4 super opening races, that's for sure.
Plenty to enjoy, plenty to discuss, I'm sure.
A bit of nerves out there with all the movement at the start, but generally once the racing was underway, the action was good, really good.
Yes, and what is it with the riders jumping at the start? There's what, 4 warnings? Lindgren's had a warning there, so there's like 4 warnings in total now. We'll talk about that more very soon, because I think early on in this first grading break we can hear from Martin Vasilik.
Well, Martin, a lot happened in that heat. It was slow to get going, lots of warnings, and then, well, you made an amazing finish, but what happened between you and Jason there?
Well, I think we just met in the place where Jason was cutting inside and from outside to inside, and I was just keep my line, and we just meet out of the 4th corner. So yeah, you know, this was just racing accident. So nothing I think you know, really happened. So we just meet in the wrong place, but it's a good. We don't crash. We hold the situation. So yeah, just like that.
For sure. Okay, well, tell me what the track's like, but also what gates are working, because we've had a win out of every different gate out there. So what's it like?
I think all 4 gates win, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that just show all 4 gates is nearly in the same condition, so that's good. That's fair for the all 4 riders. So yeah, that's good. So we just need to find some good setup for the start, and then just try to keep the speed and yeah, and make some points.
All right, thanks, Martin. Keep it going.
Yeah, sometimes looking at the gate stats can be a little misleading, because Martin actually didn't make the start. He won the race, but there's no question that racing conditions look pretty good. The track's a little choppy on the inside. You're seeing guys just bouncing around a little bit, but nonetheless, the action has been thick and fast. It's been really good so far.
Mikkel, that was a really, really close heat and a great win to come out the gate from.
Yeah, exactly. You know, made a good start. Maybe rode a little bit too defensive the first 3 laps, and Leon just slid by coming into the last corner, but I managed to make a cutback and get him back on the line. So yeah, good start.
Okay, tell me what the track's like out there.
Well, it is what it is. It's probably not as it normally is here. It's not like it was when I had the league meeting here, but you know, track is fine. it's the same for everyone. So yeah, you know, I'm just here to have fun and enjoy my racing. So that's it.
For sure, the fans are super loud out there as well. Can you hear them?
You know, considering the amount of people who's here compared to normal, you know, they're creating a good atmosphere, which is awesome. Yeah, like I said, it is what it is. It's nice that we get to race the World Championship Series, and we at least can have just a certain amount of fans cheering for us out there.
All right, thanks, Mikko. Well done.
Thank you.
Venturing to a place.
Hi, my name's Bert, and I'm a big fan of supercars. It's my job to make sure everything's clean. The cars, the fuel, the track. You can't get the top performance if it ain't clean. That's why I only use BP Ultimate. Keeps the engine clean so it stays at top performance.
Warnings. Didn't happen in Wroclaw when it was the first Grand Prix of the year, and I thought if it was going to happen, it might have been round one. I wonder if there's any particular reason for that tonight.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because you have Grand Prix where this happens, and it just sort of seems a bit infectious, doesn't it? It happens in one heat, and then the next minute it's happening all the time. It's frustrating for everybody concerned. It slows the meeting down. But, you know, it's the World Championship, and you've got to give, you know, the guys are nervous. They haven't really had any practice. They have a little warm-up an hour before the meeting, but that's all. So they're a little bit second-guessing themselves about which bike they've chosen and have they got the right setup on. Because as Nico Mikkelsen said there, it's not the same conditions they have when they come for the league matches. So it's not always easy to pick the right bike to start the meeting on. So I guess that has some influence on the fact that they're a bit twitchy on the start line. But you're right, you would have thought the opening round would have been the one where everybody was really, but it just seemed to, everybody behaved themselves there. But yeah. I tell you what, it was 4 good races, and World Championship Speedway up and running again. Delighted to be witnessing racing from Grozow, because it's a proper Speedway place and a proper Speedway town. And I've got to say, I think we're going to be in for a smashing night, that's for sure.
Yes, I think so as well. It's shaping up quite nicely. The riders are trying the outside, the inside, and they've provided us with some pretty good racing for the opening 4 races here. 1 or 2 delays, of course, which is why we're a little bit behind schedule as to where we normally are in SGP meetings. But the pit gate is open, and the riders are making their way out now for the next batch of 4 races. And Smarslik is out here again, this time off the inside gate. Can anybody stop him on his home track? Because he really does revel in riding the Edward Jansart Stadium.
He does, and he's made this place his own. I think you used that earlier, I think, if I remember rightly. Artem Laguta, I think he looked like he'd sold it, to be honest, because he didn't get amongst the points first time out, so he'll be looking to bounce back this time. But you're right, the world champion is a very difficult man to beat here in Grozow. Anders Thompson, his teammate, up alongside him, but Jason Doyle again just made such a great start, but then slipped to the back, and you just can't legislate that as a rider. That was a frustrating ride for him. He'll be looking to get amongst the points this time, but there's no doubt the man on the inside in the red helmet colour, the world champion, he will be the favourite for heat number 5.
Heat number 5 it is. Can anybody beat the hometown hero Bartosz Smarslik off the inside? Then it's Anders Thompson. Well, the Grozow rider, of course, is off gate 2. Jason Doyle, first to last in his opening race, but avoided crashing, which was most important. And Artem Laguta, last place in his opening ride as well. He's off the outside gate in heat number 5. Smarslik looked so super quick in that opening race.
Yeah, he was very impressive in the previous race in heat number 4. He's going to be a difficult man to beat away from the inside, that's for sure. Knows his place so very well and has been in sparkling form in recent weeks. Artem Laguta, Jason Doyle, pointless from their opening rides. Need a big performance now. Here we go.
Heat number 5 it is, and what a start from Smarslik. Absolutely nailed it from the very beginning there. Here's Doyle trying the inside run now down that back straight. really putting pressure on Zmarzlik, but you would think that Zmarzlik will go on and get this race under control. It's Thompson third, and the man at the back right now, once again, is Artem Laguta, who dominated round one in Wrocław, but here tonight he can't land a blow.
No, he's looking very, well, he doesn't look very confident on the bike at all. He looks very sort of timid, in actual fact. And meanwhile, though, Bartosz Zmarzlik, what a start from the inside, and is pulling away from Jason Doyle, who's working once again very hard for second place. Thompson third. Laguta doesn't look like he's going to land a blow. He doesn't look the same rider that we saw a fortnight ago. Artem Laguta at the back, but Bartosz Zmarzlik, wow, the world champion, riding beautifully in front.
Yeah, and he is going to register a second successive victory here, and the home fans are delighted about that. Well, there's only a fraction of the normal capacity crowd that is in this stadium, but they are making plenty of noise for their home favourite, Bartosz Zmarzlik. No mistake once again, 2 rides, 2 wins, and he made it look so easy from the start, didn't he? The way he just dropped the clutch and away he went, and he just made it look so simple. Doyle threatened him early on, but just couldn't keep up with him, and Zmarzlik now 2 rides, 2 wins, 6 maximum points, and looking good, and on his way to the semi-finals already, you would think. Not mathematically, of course, but
a couple of points maybe might see him through, but look at that start. I think it's emphasised by the fact that Anders Thompson missed it as well on gate 2, but there's no question that Zmarzlik was definitely ready to go, because he absolutely fired out of the start. Doyle's right with him, but can't stay with him for long, because Zmarzlik's got too much pace. Not that much went on here, apart from the fact to say that Artem Laguta doesn't look the same rider here. He's in a position where he might have had a bit of a go there, but he's out the back, he's pulling tear-offs, and doesn't look like he's got the confidence or the speed or the setup, whatever it is, to really threaten. And after 2 rides with no points, I've got to say that that is not what we were expecting. But for that man, Zmarzlik, I fancy he needs a sort of performance if he's going to retain his world championship like Janowski had in Wrocław, 38 points. He needs to win at least one night and make the final to get right back in the chase.
Well, this could be the weekend which defines Zmarzlik's season. You know, we get to the halfway stage and he could be in the driving seat. You never know. We'll find out over the course of the next 2 evenings. We're up to heat number 6 of round 3. Max Frick off the inside, then it's Mikkel Mikkelsen, winner first time out. Matti Zegar off gate number 3, 2 points to his name. Another Grozow rider, Niels Christian Iversen, going off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. This is heat number 6. And what about Max Frick? I think many people expected that Max would find it difficult. He showed glimpses as a injury replacement last season in the GP, but as a permanent Grand Prix rider, I think many people did think that, you know, Max was going to find it tough in his debut year.
It's been difficult so far. He's got loads of ability, and there's no doubt that he can ride absolutely at the very highest level. He's made a final already, but being a permanent rider brings its own pressures, and so far he's found that tough. He hasn't been super in the extra league, or he's found points at times difficult to come by there for Wrocław, but this is part of the learning curve. I hope that he doesn't go out of the Grand Prix, but it's going to be a tall order for him to make the top 6.
It is indeed. Heat number 6 it is then here. And will they get away first time of asking? Yes, they do. And it's Max Frick who's made a decent one off gate number 1. But watch out here for Zegar in white now, just drifting out wide and charging up the inside in blue as well as Mikkel Mikkelsen. But now it's Matti Zegar in second spot, charging through here. In yellow is Niels Christian Iversen, but the lead is with Max Frick, who made a beautiful start from the inside gate.
This is more like it from Frick. Absolutely nailed the start, got to the first turn and rode beautifully around that inside line to get himself to the front. Zegar's looking very threatening, beginning to wind it on in second place. Iversen really forcefully charging through in the third place, with Mikkelsen tailed off this time. Frick's out in front, but he's under pressure. Zegar's won here before. He likes Grozow. He's been a Grozow rider in the past, so there's real action out in front. We need to be watching it. Zegar now coming through, passes him, the vital moment in the race. Frick coming back for more. Proper speedway out in front.
Oh, and Max Frick closed the door on Matti Zegar there as well. Both former Bellevue Aces riders, of course, in the UK.
Good speedway out in front.
It was indeed. Great stuff. Max Frick and Matti Zegar having a real ding-dong battle there. And that's entertainment once again in Grozow tonight. And Max Frick will feel really, really boosted by a race win like that, because he's had to work hard for it, and he has got the 3 points on the board, much needed, much welcome. And Niels Christian Iversen had to work hard as well to get the better of his fellow countryman Mikkel Mikkelsen. So Frick up to 4 points, as is Zagar.
Encouraging.
Yep, that will be a big boost for Max Frick's confidence, and that's great to see.
Yeah, well, it was a terrific race. We almost missed it when Zagar came charging up the inside there, because Zagar had speed in his opening ride, and he still retains it here. Smashing start from the Australian on the inside, hugs the inside. Iversen coming charging down the inside of Mikkelsen. Can't quite get there initially, but then was able to force his way into third place. Zagar's the man to keep your eyes on here, because he's working the track, building momentum, getting more and more speed, working out where Frick is riding. And now Zagar sees it. This is the opportunity into the last lap, gets up the inside, but just runs in a little bit narrow, runs a bit wide. Frick reads it nicely and is able to get back up the inside, slams the door shut down the back straight for the first time, and the Australian will be absolutely delighted with that. Vital World Championship points on the board, and heat wins really build your confidence. Look, you're no way you're coming through there, Matty. Slam the door shut. Frick, well, that was much more encouraging from him. He'll be pleased as punch with it.
Yeah, well done, Max Frick. Started his
nice ride.
European professional career with the Edinburgh Monarchs, who are holding a British youth round, I noticed, behind closed doors very soon. So good luck to everybody involved with that. Good to see. And here we move on now to heat number 7. Leon Madsen off the inside gate. One of several riders on a warning, of course. And he's alongside Antonio Limbach off gate number 2. Martin Vasilik, winner first time out, as was Patrick Dudek, remarkably involved in a horrifying-looking crash. Picked himself up, no problem, won the rerun.
Brilliant, and showed great character in doing so. He's got a wonderful limp. Speedway riders generally limp, but he's got a limp on the right-hand side, not on the left-hand side. So he's kind of evened it up. But certainly was very impressive in heat number 1 when they got away with it. Madsen was looking pretty threatening when he passed Mikkelsen, but couldn't quite hang on to the lead. He's on the inside. It'll be interesting to see what he can do from there. But there's a couple of race winners here.
I thought Madsen had plenty of speed in his opening ride, so let's see how effective he can make that. He's made the start from the inside gate here in this heat number 7, and sweeping around the outside is Martin Vasilik, charging hard here. That's Antonio Limbach in the blue helmet colour, and Patrick Dudek. His inconsistency against strikes, he's at the back, but Leon Madsen has the lead, looking good. Vasilik, though, might just push him hard here. He's keeping him honest up top and working him hard.
Yeah, good start from Madsen. He behaved himself and got away from the inside gate. He's hugging the inside, and Martin Vasilik is pushing hard in second place, running wide now, and just losing a bit of momentum. Madsen's got this, barring any sort of ill fortune, and that'll be great for the Dane. Needs a lot of points. He was 20 points behind Matsej Janowski coming into tonight. So Leon Madsen chased hard by Vasilik. Dudek pulling up at the back.
He's hurt, mate. He's hurt.
Is he?
Oh, absolutely. That's the reason, I'm sure.
Madsen wins in Star Night.
Yeah, he does. Leon Madsen from the man in white, Martin Vasilik, then Antonio Limbach, but I'm certain Patrick Dudek is feeling the effects of that incident, which was in the first race of the night. And of course, I guess, Kelv, I mean, you must know this as a former rider, adrenaline can get you through a rerun, but then, as you sat in the pit area, reality must strike. Madsen, Vasilik, Limbach and Dudek, reality must strike as the pain intensifies, Kelv.
Well, you certainly feel the pain a lot more when you're at the back than when you're at the front. And he was at the front in the rerun of his first ride, and he got tailed off there and quite clearly was feeling the effects of that crash in his opening ride. Disappointment for Dudek. But I've got to say that Leon Madsen looks pretty competitive tonight, and there's no doubt that he has got plenty of speed. He comes away from the inside nicely, behaved himself, got to. If he moves again, he'll be excluded because he's carrying a warning. Martin Vasilik's there. Vasilik looks like he's got himself really sorted out this evening. Another rider that needs a whole hat full of points. Dudek from the outside doesn't get there, clutching away, can't really land a blow, and eventually pulls up at the back. But for Leon Madsen, who we must remind everybody has had 2 back surgeries through the winter and the early part of this year, and that is no small thing, rather. And But nonetheless, 5 points from 2 outings. He'll be very pleased with that, and a very good effort, as you rightly say.
Hope Dudek's okay. Hope he can continue. Like you said, he was limping. We wish him all the best. And, of course, riders do wear a steel shoe on their left boot to help them get round the bend as they slide the bike round the bend. When I was a child, I used to tape a little tin can to my left boot.
Okay.
On the push bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, hands up at home. Did you used to do that?
Well, maybe they did.
Maybe just me then.
Maybe did.
Just me then.
Yeah, was it a baked bean can, or was it something a bit more exotic? But there we are. Good for you, Nigel.
Yeah. Emil Seiferten off the inside.
A true fan.
I want to know, did you tape a flattened tin can to your left boot and ride a push bike as a kid? That's the question. Right, Emil Seiferten off in red off the inside. Then it's Mats Janowski off 2, Ty Woffinden off 3, and Freddie Lindgren off the outside. This is a terrific lineup, Kelv.
It is, but more importantly, did you put a flattened can on the bottom of your left foot? That's the important thing. No, this is a wonderful lineup, and Heat 8 is looking really tasty indeed. Lindgren was fast. Janowski looked very useful indeed. Woffinden battling away, and Emil Seiferten off a class act, but he's struggling for points. He's got the inside gate, needs to take full advantage of it here.
He does indeed. The tape tries. This is heat number 8. Every rider will have completed a couple of outings. And now Seiferten is there, but watch out for Lindgren charging through the middle. Woffinden is on the inside run, and here comes Lindgren around the outside. Beautiful move. He absolutely chose the right line immaculately there, Fredrik Lindgren. Second place is Ty Woffinden. Third in red, Emil Seiferten. And the man at the back is Mats Janowski right now. But he won't be out of this. He'll push hard for all 4 laps for sure.
What a ride from Freddie Lindgren. Absolutely powered down the back straight to fire himself to the front, and he's looking really good this evening out in front. Woffinden working the inside line. Emil Seiferten off again, not showing great speed in 3rd place, and Janowski surprisingly is at the back. But for Freddie Lindgren, who came into the championship with a whole hat full of points after the first 2 rounds in Wroclaw, is building on that. He's flying away in Heat 8, and what a race to win, super race to win.
Yeah, this is the back. Janowski challenging Seiferten off and locks up. Just lost a bit of control there, but Lindgren magnificent there. And I'll tell you what, Kelv, as I say, I'm not an ex-rider, you are, but would you agree with me that the line he picked there won him that race, because it was an immaculate line that he selected?
Spot on, coming out of the first corner there, got his wheels in line, got the speed, roared round the outside. Coming from the outside did him a favour. He got that extra swoop round the first turn, and Freddie Lindgren looking good so far.
And the series leader, Mats Janowski, has only got 2 points from 2 rides. Lindgren up to 5 with Vasilik and Madsen, but on top of the pile is Bartosz Smarslik with 6.
Well,
hi, my name's Bert, and I'm a big fan of supercars. It's my...
From the pits on what is happening with Patrick Dudek. He may not give much away, of course, but you have to have concern for Patrick after that horrific crash.
Well, we'll soon find. Well, he's out in Heat 11, Nige, and you know, it would be nice to know, but World Championship points and his position in the World Championship is vulnerable. He only just crept in from last year, and you've got to wonder whether, you know, he'll be invited back. There are 5 wild cards, permanent picks, effectively, for next year's series, so we'll wait and see what happens there, but concern over Patrick.
Let's hear from Bartosz Smarslik now.
Okay, Bartosz, 2 wins out of 2. You must be feeling happy out there.
Yeah, I have to win 2 starts and everything good. I feeling so very nice today. But so, you know, the only 2 heats, we'll see what the before me.
You've made 2 different gates work, but it looks like after that grading, the red gate was working. 1 more red gate. Do you think it is the red gate that's working for you?
Yeah, so gate, but I think so every gating so very close, and doesn't matter what the situation. Very important, so push on the clutch and so good revs on the going to the corner, and must looking for the setups on the bike, and yeah, I must focus on about this, and we'll see.
Amazing, thanks Bartosz.
Thank you.
Interesting, and it doesn't feel there's too much to choose between the gates there. Obviously the inside gate with the red helmet colour, he's got that again. He's got 2 of those. He won nicely in the previous heats from his previous heat, and he'll be coming out pretty shortly from there again. Heat 12, sorry, excuse me, he's got a little bit of a break now. He can have a bit of a snooze in the pits if he really wanted to, but he's looking good. And yeah, I've got to say, I don't know what's going on with the Russians, Nige. Emil Sayfutunov really struggling. I fancied him to be world champion this year. That's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And Artem Laguta doesn't look the same guy. You know, so impressive in Wrocław, so much speed, and so far hasn't scored a point. And that's almost inexplicable. I find that difficult to understand.
Yes, and we said this before the first round, Kel, didn't we, when we looked ahead to the Grand Prix series, and the way the format is this year with 4 weekends with 2 Grand Prix per weekend, we did say that even after the first weekend there were going to be some high-profile riders, established Grand Prix riders, that were already going to be ruled out of the title race.
Well, they are. You know, Emil Sayfutunov is one. He mathematically, of course, he could be world champion at this very early stage, but I tell you what, he's not going to be, and he's probably unlikely to make the top 6. So there'll be some big decisions to be made by the rights holders and the international body about who does get these picks, because they're, as you rightly say, you're going to have some big hitters not making the top 6 this year, and they're getting distanced at this very early stage. But maybe they can turn it around. You know, something just sparks off and all of a sudden you see the speed coming back. But it is a big surprise for me that Artem Laguta can go from a rider that looks like unbeatable to a guy that really looks like he's struggling to even score a point. That's such a big swing in performance. Quite radical. I can't quite put my finger on why.
Well, we see Patrick Dudek there, and hopefully he's going to be okay. The bikes are still there, which means that he's going to continue.
Nasty looking fall,
Yeah,
awkward looking fall,
awful.
particularly when he was caught up with the handlebars. Never ideal, that, and not the best way to start his night. And he's got a bit of work to do, and hopefully he can get amongst the points, because he's got 3 points. He's got a race win. You never know. Race wins can be vital when it comes to the semi-final. You know, if he can just pick up 5 points from his next 3, might just be enough to get him through to the semi-finals. So they've got to remain positive if they can.
Well, Max Frick will be delighted with the fact that he got a win under his belt. We can hear from him now.
Well, Max, that's what we like to see. That was a good win there, a good clean win as well. You came out a bit slower in the last heat, but let's talk about that last heat that just gone by then.
Yeah, it was nice to get out of the start. Having an inside gate really helped there, I think, and you know, just to get some clean air. Maddie put a bit of pressure on there, but I was able to kind of counter back and you know, finish with a win, which is nice. So you know, after the first heat, I felt a little bit slow and made a couple of changes and felt much better in that one. So I'm happy with that.
Okay, I've been asking a lot about the gates, because in our first set of 4 heats, all the gates won, but in that heat, after the grading, it was just the red gate that took the win until Freddie. You think the red gate's going to work for the rest of the evening?
I'm not too sure. I think it depends on how the track develops. It's you know, and how many ruts are there, and the kind of the dirt. So you can see at the moment the inside of the first corner has been really good, and I think coming from gate 1, you're just that little bit closer, which, you know, makes it a little bit easier. So if the dirt builds up a little bit more on the outside, I think the outside gates will start to kind of work a little bit better, hopefully.
Now, as a track, is it bunching you together?
It's pretty tight out there. You know, the track's quite fast, so everyone's, you know, it makes it really difficult for people to pass. So when it does, it gets pretty close. So, you know, that last heat, you know, I was able to, you know, Matty got by me and I was able to just get back by him again. So, you know, it's making for some tight racing out there.
All right, keep it going, Max. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleased for Max Frick, because that's just what the doctor ordered for him, a real confidence booster. This man bounced back brilliantly after the difficult crash he had, but you know, in 2017 he pushed Jason Doyle all the way right down under, didn't he? We went to Australia and he rode so well, but that form has eluded him since then. Hasn't quite been that rider since then, but I'm sure he'll recapture it at some point. Plenty of track work going on, and just getting the start gate all lined up and marked out again for racing to continue in heat number 9. Freddie Lindgren coming out of here again, and he's looking really good tonight. Got to say that I've got to believe that after that Friday night in Wrocław, where he really did luck out, and the way the new point scoring system, it did benefit him quite massively on that night, you've got to say that since then he really has capitalised on it, and once again tonight he's looking very good indeed. We're looking at the scores after 8 heats, Nigel.
Yep, and Smarslik unbeaten so far, of course. All about getting in the top 8, and right now it's too close to call. But the picture will emerge more clearly after the next set of 4 races, when every rider will have had 3 outings at that particular stage of the meeting. So this man in white is Anders Thompson, the wild card. He'll be here again tomorrow night as the wild card. A reminder, we're back next weekend with 2 more Grand Prix in Prague in the Czech Republic, Friday and Saturday evening, or morning if you're watching in Australia live. We send you our very best wishes and hope you're enjoying our coverage from Grozow right now. And here we see Freddie Lindgren going off gate 2 in blue, where the man is currently on 5 points, riding quite nicely right now, Freddie Lindgren. And well, if he can have a good weekend this weekend, he'll be in a great position, set fair for the second half of the series. That's for sure. 4th place before tonight, and looking good. So the build-up is on for heat number 9 of the 2020 Enia Grozow FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland. Heat 9 it is then. Niels Christian Iversen going off the inside, just a couple of points so far. Fast Freddie Lindgren going off gate number 2, 5 points for the Swede. Anders Thompson goes off gate 3 in white, a couple of points to his name. And Leon Madsen, 5 points out of 6. He's got speed, no doubt. He's off the outside in yellow.
Indeed he is, and a couple of the boys here have changed their bikes. It's a second bike for Anders Thompson and Iversen, so they're just playing around trying to find the right setup. Leon Madsen looking really good. Could be quite a clash here with Madsen and Lindgren. Both those 2 lads are going really well this evening, so looking forward to see how it goes. Smarslik, the champion, looking on. He's going great guns, unbeaten so far. Here we go.
Yep, and heading into that first turn, it's a good start from Iversen in the red helmet colour. Watch out for Lindgren up the inside here. Madsen's going to try the outside, but Lindgren's got there. Another super swoop from Freddie Lindgren. He is using all his track craft and knowledge and experience to wonderful effect this evening by picking the right racing line. This is for second. Madsen in the yellow helmet colour, chasing his fellow Dane, Niels Christian Iversen in the red helmet, but Lindgren kicking on up front.
Indeed he is. Another really super move from Freddie Lindgren early in the race to get the better of Iversen, who made a good start initially. Leon Madsen riding high and wide, but it isn't working out there. He just can't really get to grips with it at all. Tell you what, Freddie Lindgren on this form, he's looking like a finalist, isn't he? He's going to move on to 8 points, and that probably will be enough for the semi-finals. Clearing away for Elfbeer out in front. Iversen hanging on, and as Thompson coming through, that really does pour salt in the wound for Leon Madsen. Oh, that's a disappointment for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Madsen going to the back, unbelievable here. But what a ride from that man again. Freddie Lindgren has got lots of experience now. This is his 128th Grand Prix of his career. And that makes him the most experienced rider in the Grand Prix field this year. His 128th Grand Prix for Freddie Lindgren. Niels Christian Iversen second, then Anders Thompson third, and Leon Madsen at the back. It means that Lindgren now moves on to 8 Grand Prix points tonight. And well-deserved, because I think he's riding very cleverly, Kelv.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a little bit out of order in Wrocław, where he clouted the side of Bartosz Smarslik, but I'll tell you what, so far this evening, he has not put a foot wrong. It's a smashing start initially from Iversen on the inside, but again, even Freddie Lindgren, chops back to the inside. As Max Frick said in his interview, the inside line has got a little bit of grip there, and there's no doubt that Lindgren was able to utilise that big time coming off the first turn. Iversen working hard. You can see there's been a bit of water go down, because there's no question that Leon Madsen works that outside, but it does not pan out for him, because he ends up going to the back, and he'll be frustrated with that. And Thompson, late on in the race, was able to get the better of his fellow Dane and takes that 3rd place away from him. He'll be frustrated. But for that man, 8 points from 3 rides, Well, Freddie Lundgren almost certainly through to the semi-finals now, and looking like a winner tonight. That's good stuff from him.
Yeah, rides for Chesterhover in the Extraliga,
who actually haven't had a good season. They have a really good lineup, but it hasn't panned out. They've had all sorts of drama with management and track conditions and so forth. But Freddie Lundgren in the World Championship so far has been rock solid.
Yeah, and I know that he's still very, very highly thought of as a club legend at Wolverhampton in the UK, where he's only ever ridden for one British club, Lundgren, and that is Wolverhampton. And another former Wolverhampton man is Ty Woffernan off the inside and needs some points here. Jason Doyle goes off gate 2 in the blue helmet colour. Antonio Limbach goes off gate 3 in white. Again, another pretty poor night for Antonio, which is a shame to see. And Matti Zagar going off the outside.
Woffernan on another bike here, Nige. He's changed it and looking for a bit more speed. Antonio Limbach, he needs to find some speed, and soon. He hasn't had a good campaign so far. Tell you what, Zagar looks pretty useful tonight. Don't rule him out here. And Jason Doyle, another rider that really does need to get amongst the points. Big race here.
Yep, here we go then. Can Woffernan make it off the inside gate? And he does hold that inside line and has got the advantage right now. Watch out for Doyle trying the outside run now. Closes that door on Limbach. Here comes Zagar as well. Zagar's got lots of speed. Is the man in the yellow helmet colour here, Matti Zagar. Trying to get around the outside of Doyle and does. Lovely move. Closes the door as well. How did he avoid the back wheel of Matti Zagar?
I don't know.
More by luck than judgment, perhaps.
Yes, absolutely.
Jason's probably thinking, it's just not my night. But Ty Woffernan looking good.
He is indeed. The change of equipment is working so far, but keep your eyes on Zagar. Zagar is fast in second place and is chasing the three-time world champion down. Doyle is just not having his night at all. Certainly he was a touch fortunate to stay on the bike, but again, speed is lacking. No lack of effort, but just not going forward fast enough. Woofernan's got this. Zagar, another solid second place, but for Woffernan, the change of equipment here has paid dividends.
Riding beautifully, Ty Woffernan, that transforms his night. The Great Britain man, as the three-time world champion, gets 3 precious points to his name there. Needed that 59.5, the winning time. And how Woffernan needed that. The change of machinery, the change of bike has paid dividends there, and how. Second place, Matti Zagar. Third was Jason Doyle. Goodness me, when he got that grip and he went on one wheel, I thought he was going to collect the back wheel of Zagar in front of him. But look at Woffernan now, up into the top 4, no problem, 6 points.
Much better.
A very, very impressive ride.
Yeah, much more like it. They'll be pleased with that. Big call in the pits to change the bike, and it pays dividends. Bit of elbows going to the first corner with Doyley, but Woffernan prevails and holds the inside. Now, as they charge down the back straight, Doyley's in second place. Again, he's in a good position here, but hasn't got the speed to stay there. And Zagar, look at this. Look how easily he came around the outside of Jason Doyle there. It's a lovely move from Zagar. He's in the dirt. Look at this. Bike's on the back wheel, driving beautifully off the corner and just swoops around, closes the door. Classy move from Zagar. I tell you what, he was very fortunate to miss the back of Zagar. Look at this. I know he's further away than you look, but it was quite a dramatic moment for him. But that kills his speed, and then any chances of the first 2 is gone. But for Woffernan, an immaculate-looking bike out in front, and he'll be pleased with that. 6 points to his name, and that's exactly what he needed.
Yeah, still got a couple of races left as well, of course. Bear that in mind to get the points necessary to get into a semi-final spot, and it's consistency for Ty. That's what it's all about. You know, speaking to him, he has said that he just wants semis and finals all the way through to give himself a chance of a 4th world title. And
well, so far it's working.
Yes,
he's got 32 World Championship points coming into tonight. Dudek,
Patrick Dudek, I think, could be about to see his evening potentially ended, but that's only my opinion. We'll try and get more information from the pits as soon as we can.
We'll hopefully get that confirmed, but that would be desperately disappointing for him. Look at this from Laguta. Tried 3 different bikes. Wow, that's desperation stakes.
And confirmation then, Rafał Kaczmarz is in white here, so no Patrick Dudek. Inovski Laguta, Kaczmarz the first reserve, Dudek absolutely devastated. We wish him well. And Max Frick going off the outside gate. This is heat number 11, so Rafał Kaczmarz is the reserve for Patrick Dudek, who's in too much pain. I called it in his second ride. He looked uncomfortable. He was taking the bends gingerly at best. Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, Rafał Kaczmarz there just getting the nerves getting the better of him and destroying the tapes, not just touching them, but destroying them. So we won't be seeing him. So I presume now we're going to see Viktor Jasinski coming out.
What a shame. What a shame for the reserve.
I think he rides for Grozow, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah. Oh, dear. So, and if he gets another ride, which he probably will because of Patrick Dudek's absence, he'll have a warning to his name as well.
Not the ideal start.
No.
But aside from that, Janowski and Laguta here on the inside two gates, desperate for points. Laguta.
Yep, so Viktor Jasinski is the man that is in line to replace him. Just another frustrating delay, really, this.
If we can have a countdown, please.
Well, we know what's going to happen here. We know that there's going to be a 2-minute warning coming on very shortly. And a warning, obviously, will be given to Kaczmarz. So Phil Morris will be instructing the referee to put the 2 minutes on so riders make their way back round. You can see the yellow light in the background by the start line, so the 2 minutes is on. Frick rode beautifully last time. He was a winner. And Janowski and Laguta are the ones that are desperate for points. This man has ridden, this is his 3rd bike. And if you're going through 3 bikes on an evening, that would suggest to me that things all is not well. So
yeah, I've also got to say, Kelv, there must be question marks for Patrick now about 24 hours from now. So I wonder if anybody's on the phone to Bartosz Smektala, potentially, or let me get this right. Who would next be in line? Pontus Aspergren, maybe.
If he's in the country, I mean, moving around is not that easy these days, is it? He might be able to make it, but interesting to see what they actually decide to do if Patrick can't ride.
Bartosz Smektala should, well, he should be getting a phone call any time now, I would think. But anyway, look, that's for tomorrow night. The substitutes are Smektala, Anders Thompson, Pontus Aspergren, Dimitri Berger. They're the substitutes. Thompson already riding as a wild card, of course. And Patrick Dudek's gear being packed up.
It's his dad taking his gear out, so it's a disappointing night for him.
Yeah, gutted for him, but it was a horrendous crash, wasn't it? But there we are. Right, here we go. Heat number 11 is underway, and Mats Janowski has made no mistake from the start. Artem Laguta is the man in blue here, and now Jasinski is in 3rd place right now. The reserve is getting the better of Max Frick, Viktor Jasinski, and quite an experience. His 1st ever Grand Prix ride. He's leading Frick in 3rd, but Janowski is the leader, but he's coming under pressure from Artem Laguta here.
Yeah, better ride from Laguta, looked much better away from the tapes. Frick will be frustrated not to get the better of Jasinski. He does now. He's through into 3rd place. Every point's going to be, he runs wide there, miles too wide, and that allows the youngster back into 3rd place. And Janowski's out in front. That's encouraging for him. Laguta, this will be his 1st points of the night. I repeat, his 1st points of the night in his 3rd ride. That is incredible. But for Janowski, Nige, well, this could just about put his evening back on track with a win here. He'll be pleased with this. Into the last lap, looking good.
Yeah, he needed that. And 2nd place there, going to Artem Laguta. A lot better from Artem Laguta. And Mats Janowski, well, he needed that, didn't he? 2 points from 2 rides, 5 from 3 now, transforms his evening with a couple of races still to go for Magic. That gives him a great shout of pushing on for a place in the semi-finals. And Viktor Jasinski gets a point in his 1st ever Grand Prix outing as a reserve. We'll see more of Kaczmarz and Jasinski throughout the course of the evening because of the unfortunate absence now of Patrick Dudek, who, again, we must emphasise we send our very best wishes to Patrick, but huge question marks now over whether he can ride tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Good start from the inside from Janowski. Laguta there in the blue helmet colour is alongside him. Jasinski is into 3rd place. This is an untidy ride from Frick. Frick looked so good when he beat Zagar in his previous outing, but he fails to score a point here. He'll be really, really disappointed with that. An opportunity up against the reserve rider who hasn't been on track so far this evening, and he doesn't get a point. There's no doubt. You watch him now, the bike grips there and pushes him too wide, and that allows the youngster Jasinski back up the inside to steal that point away. So for the Australian, the frustration. Not the Aussies' night tonight, that's for sure. And Jasinski does well to hang on to third place. But out in front, Janowski, of course, the World Championship leader, very important. And for him to pick up the points here, and he moves on to 5 points. And Jasinski looks like he's won the meeting coming out of the last corner.
Bartosz Marszlik didn't celebrate like that in 2012.
No, he had both hands on the handlebar, that's for sure. But two outings to go for Janowski. And the man on the right there worked for Rafa, his name is. He worked for Greg Hancock for about 20 years, so plenty of experience in the pits there.
Yep, so here we go with heat number 12 then. Bartosz Marszlik off the inside gate again. Emil Sayfutdinov, the Russian, needs points. He's only got one so far. Mikko Mikkelsen off 3 and Martin Vasilik off gate number 4 in the yellow helmet colour. But Marszlik off gate 1. He'll be loving this draw, won't he?
Yeah, it's certainly working nicely for him. You've got to believe that's a good place to start from. Sayfutdinov has changed his bike. He's looking for something more. That's obvious. He's got 1 point from 2 rides, so needs to improve his performances. And Martin Vasilik on the outside. It's going well tonight. Oh, what a start.
Yeah, great start again from Marszlik. Too good indeed this time.
We had a funny angle there. We were behind. We didn't see quite across the tapes.
Wow.
So the red light came on immediately. I'm not quite sure. Be interesting to see if it's Marszlik that gets the warning or not.
A few of these tonight, Kelv, isn't there?
Yeah, this is a strange angle because you can't... Is it him that moves first?
Well, he just...
no, that's a great start. Tapes have gone.
He did move slightly, I thought.
This is a better angle. That's a perfect start.
Yeah, he's just unlucky there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just a bit unfortunate there. He's made an absolute beauty.
Well, here we see it again.
That's perfect. I think Jesper Steenthoff been a little bit premature there because he didn't move.
Will he get a warning?
No.
If he doesn't get a warning, the referee's made a mistake then, hasn't he?
Well, he has. You can clearly see it has. So a few whistles around the stadium. And he made a great start in his previous race from gate 1, didn't he? He really jumped out. And no warnings there. Not
confirmed,
really,
no warnings.
No surprise. When you see the replay, Nige, he doesn't do anything wrong.
No. The referee's pulled that back for no reason there, really, but...
Frustrating, because he's the one that's got everything to lose by making a perfect start, and Jesper Steenthoff decided that it was too good.
He's the man that you can't see in that shot, the referee.
He's quite a nice bloke, Jesper, actually.
He is, yeah.
But I had a beer with him one evening in the bar, and he's okay.
Before the meeting or after?
After the meeting, of course.
I'm glad you clarified
they're
that.
very professional in this part of the world.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Just changing the ignition, well, that would come to mind for you, I'm sure it would. Mikko Mikkelsen there, obviously, started strongly, but faded last time out. What did he do? He failed to score. So he's got 3 points. He's got time on his side, but they're just making a bit of a tweak to the setup.
Big race for him here.
Yeah. And in actual fact, talking about setup, they reckon that on Saturday night, Marszlik actually said the change of bike really helped him out. They were finding conditions difficult. 2 bikes, changing the ignition. They're working overtime in that camp, that's for sure.
Indeed they are. Heat number 12 it is. Can anybody stop Bartosz Marszlik from winning again?
Well, I think
Grozow.
it'll be a surprise if he gets beaten here. It's not impossible, of course, because there's quality out there with Sayfutdinov, Vasilik and Mikkelsen. But on his own track and the form he's in, well, you'd be struggling to bet against him, wouldn't you? Particularly from that inside gate.
So here is the lineup once again. It's Bartosz Marszlik off the inside with no warning. Emil Sayfutdinov off 2, Mikko Mikkelsen 3, and Martin Vasilik going off the outside gate. And into the first turn we go. And Bartosz Marszlik, well, he's got away with it. He got away with that one. And now here's Vasilik charging hard into the second spot here now. Emil Sayfutdinov battling away with Vasilik, but just doesn't have the speed here tonight. Vasilik, though, keeping pace with Marszlik. He's going to try the inside run, but Marszlik's got the speed down the back straight as he got the drive out of the turn.
I'll tell you what, Martin Vasilik looks good, though. He's hungry for points and is battling hard. Marszlik fairly comfortable in front. But I say, as you say, Nige, Emil Sayfutdinov just not on the pace and can't get to the first corner, and they're all chasing the dirt high and wide now. Zmarzlik beginning to stretch his legs. He's pulling away out in front. Martin Vašilik fairly comfortable in second place. The tweaks to the ignition timing on Mikkelsen hasn't worked, but for Zmarzlik, he's going to remain unbeaten.
Yeah, look at him go. He's absolutely in full control. Set up spot on, feeling good, riding beautifully. Bartosz Zmarzlik, the local boy, the reigning world champion, takes the checkered flag once again here tonight. Vašilik was on the pace early on for the first couple of laps, but Zmarzlik kicked on, and disappointment for Emil Sayfutdinov once again, who most people were talking about pre-series as a serious contender. Zmarzlik, Vašilik, Sayfutdinov, and Mikkelsen at the back. That's a blow to his hopes tonight. And it now means that after every rider has completed 3 outings, Bartosz Zmarzlik is the only maximum man. 9 points out of 9. Freddie Lindgren is on 8.
Well, just looking at those point scores, it's going to get very, very tight for the top 8 this evening. You just sense that it's really going to be nip and tuck. Bit of movement on the start there.
That was worse than the first race that was pulled back.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that the referee made a mistake there.
There was reason to warn him there.
Yeah, there was. You could see it. He was a bit twitchy there, but got away with it. Probably had a bit of good fortune because he was pulled back incorrectly the first time. Martin Vašilik, I tell you what, he's having a good go tonight, and Vašilik's amongst the points, and that's good to see. Winner here 2 years ago, of course, when he swept round the outside in the final to deny Zmarzlik that night. So a brilliant effort here. Quite clearly loves the place. Emil Sayfutdinov again, major question mark over his performance. Just not getting to grips with it at all, and a class rider not doing the business in the World Championship. And it could be another year where it slips by with him not being crowned champion. But for Zmarzlik, this is exactly what he needed.
Well, we'll get some reaction from Ty Woffenden now after heat number 12 with Kiri.
Ty, that's exactly what you needed, a win out there, but it does seem like that red gate really is working, and that was the last of your red gates.
Yeah, it still wasn't a great start. First 2 was atrocious, and then I changed bike, so feels like the bike's working a lot better, that second one. So yeah, just making a couple more changes to try and calm it down a little bit, and should have a bit more speed.
Well, you've never not made it into a final here, so we've got high hopes for tonight.
Oh, thanks. You probably just jinxed me.
No, I don't think so. Okay, tell me what the track's like.
It looked like it was going to be really heavy because they ripped it up really deep, and then they're just trying to pack it in, and it was moving underneath the track, the water truck. So, but it's like dried out super quick. It's really sandy here, yeah, just cruising. It's pretty slick now, so nothing special.
Okay, and I know we've got limited fans out there, but they're certainly loud, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, especially when Bartek goes out.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see him winning races. As Kiri pointed out there in the interview, he has a terrific record here, and he'll be very keen to keep his championship on track. When we go to Prague next weekend in the Marquette, he has a fabulous record there as well. So 2 super venues for Ty, and of course he's clinched all of his 3 World Championships in Torun. So there's nothing to fear from the venue situation for Ty, and he's very much in this chase. But 1 or 2 guys beginning to come under pressure. Janowski and Artem Laguta so far. And Janowski's not out of it, but Laguta is a shock for me because he was so good 2 weeks ago in Wrocław. And Emil Sayfutdinov, such a talent, and so many people's pre-series favourite to be world champion. Just can't see it now. That's a shame for him. He must be very disappointed.
Well, he must be scratching his head, I mean, he's a naturally talented speedway rider, and he's a brilliant speedway rider, and he's ruled out of the world title race already, so
yes,
major disappointment for Emil Sayfutdinov. But Freddie Lindgren's riding well, and he's ready to speak to us now.
Freddie, back-to-back wins. You're quietly picking up the points there. You're quite deadly out there tonight.
Yeah, so far I felt good. Felt really fast on the track, so got to keep the focus. And we all know you have to make it to the semis and then to the final to make the big points. So keep the focus on.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Make it to the final to get those big points. Now, I've been talking to everybody about the gates. Red gate's been working, but you're the man that's managed to make all the other gates work.
Really, I didn't know the stats, but as I said, I feel fast on the track, so fingers crossed I can keep it up.
Just spoke to Ty. He said the track's got a lot slicker. Are you finding that now as well?
After the grading, when they put the water down, of course it's a little bit slippery. You can see the lines kind of changed it from the first heat after the grading to the last one. They go a lot more outside in the later heats, so you have to keep an eye on that.
All right, keep it going. Let's hope we see you in the final.
Thank you.
Yeah, Freddie's actually done some dynamic first corners, though. You picked up on it a couple of times, and there's no question that he's put himself in the right place at the right time, and that's normally an indication of a rider that's on top of his game. And he's doing a fine job so far this evening. He must be pleasantly pleased with that, quietly pleased about it. He's staying, he's not getting overexcited because there's still plenty of work to be done, and the World Championship points aren't dished out until later on, and he wants to be in the top 4 at the very least, because you're going to get 14 points as a minimum for making the final this evening. And since that Friday night, Nigel, when he only scored 7 points from 5 rides, and then he had that bit of good fortune of getting into the final that night, crikey, he's kicked on from there. He really has capitalised on that, hasn't he?
Yeah, so Ty Woffernan in the blue helmet colour in the next race. He's already there, ready to go. Now, there is normally a longer grading break in between heats 12 and 13, but the riders are now getting prepared to be pushed off very shortly. And Vasilik, Woffernan, Frick and Thompson is your lineup as we see the bikes lined up there. The panoramic view of the Edward Jansart Stadium in Grozow in the city of...
Hi, my name's Bert, and I'm a big fan of supercars. It's my job to make sure everything's clean. The cars, the fuel, the track. You can't get the top performance if it ain't clean. That's why I only use BP Ultimate. Keeps the engine clean so it stays at top performance.
Lego Mario time! Here we go! And the adventure begins! Collect coins along the way. Whoa, watch out for the lava! Stomp your enemies! Get to the goal on time, and then rebuild the level with more challenges! And Bowser! Nice! Lego Super Mario! Your levels, your adventures!
Lego Mario included in starter course. Other sets sold separately. Batteries not included.
Winning or just almost winning, never miss a moment.
The moment is his! That is a miracle! They can't believe it! Oh, it doesn't get any bigger!
Because every moment counts.
Come on. She's doing me, no problem.
I'm sick of it. I'm going, and I'm never coming back.
Download the free Foxtel Go app to watch anywhere, anytime.
We have information that your client may have tucked away a very large sum of money.
He's gonna go on a rampage.
We made a promise. Someday we was gonna make it big.
Rented now on Foxtel Store.
Relations here with the crowds and stuff, and you know, I haven't really I haven't been here much on track this season due to injuries, and I'm happy that I can be here and put a show on this weekend in the Grand Prix, and then we are looking for the playoffs with the club, which is obviously a big thing.
For sure, I bet you are as well. Okay, keep it going tonight.
Thank you.
Well, he's got a chance, and he's got 4 points to his name. Good couple of rides, and he'll be through to the semi-finals. I like Niels, you know, he's not had an easy time, but he's remaining positive, and riding in front of his home crowd, he'll want to put on a good display tonight. Riders are ready now, Nige, helmets on, goggles on, and bikes will be fired up fairly shortly for the resumption of racing. Martin Vasilik, he's going along nicely tonight. I've got to say, this is a good performance from him. How many points has he got? He's got 7. That's good. And is it 7? Am I right? In 7?
Yeah, 3-2-2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That makes 7, doesn't it? And 5 plus 2. So yeah, that's good for him. And I'd like to see him coming back to form, because he had a difficult couple of days in Wroclaw, where he came away with just 12 points. He's down in 11th, and that would have been frustrating for him. So he's battling, making his way back. But yeah, with this shortened series, with it all condensed into 5 weeks, crikey, you have got to keep your form on. And Janowski's the one where question marks in the past have been about him fading away after big performances. Can he grind a result out here this evening to keep his championship challenge on track? Because he was so good in Wrocław 2 weeks ago.
Yep, 5 points from 3 rides from Magic tonight. But what about the reigning champion Bartosz Marslik? 9 points out of 9. He's the maximum man so far this evening. And heat number 13 coming up. Vasilik going off the inside gate has been quick tonight. Woofenden's next to him, so he'll fancy more points here as well after his win last time out. But we're building up to heat number 13, the start of the next group of 4 heats, 13 to 16 in the Edward Jansard Stadium. Heat number 13 it is then. Martin Vasilik, who's had a good night so far, looking good off the inside in the red helmet colour. Ty Woofenden boosted by a race win last time out. 6 points to his name so far. Then it's Max Frick off 3 and Anders Thompson going off the outside gate. This now the next set of 4 heats. Heats 13 to 16 as this 2020 Enia Grozow FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland progresses. More dramatic twists and turns, the title race hotting up, of course, and a big weekend for the hometown hero Bartosz Marslik, who's come good tonight, as I think everybody expected, with 9 points out of 9. Heat number 13 it is then. Which way will this go? Can Vasilik make it off the inside gate in the red helmet colour? He has just about got there. Woofenden's going to try to chop up the inside. Vasilik has the advantage now. Woofenden's quick, he's on his back wheel. He's going to try the inside run, and Vasilik closes the door, clamps him down. That was mightily close. The man in yellow is Anders Thompson in 3rd place right now, and Max Frick is at the back. Woofenden's trying everything here, absolutely everything, but Vasilik has ridden a good line there.
You've got to be on the inside where they've watered it. It's greasy on the outside, so you've got to hug the inside, and Vasilik certainly was smart there to get away. Woofenden moved off the line once, but went backwards and now chopped back to the inside, but Vasilik under massive pressure initially from Ty Woofenden has made that inside gate work, and he's out in front looking really good. He's pulling away from Woofenden, who will be relatively comfortable on 2nd place, but for Martin Vasilik, he's going to move on to 10 points, double figures for the Slovakian, looking good.
Yeah, he is indeed. He's going to take the race here. Heat number 13, Martin Vasilik from Ty Woofenden. Woofenden moves on to 8 as well, so that's decent for Ty Woofenden, because of course, under the new point system for this year, wherever you finish, as long as you get in the top 8, you can still finish on top with 20 Grand Prix points by winning the final. So it's a different dynamic this year. Lots of things different about this year, of course. But Martin Vasilik, the winner.
You don't say.
Yeah, Ty Woofenden 2nd, Anders Thompson 3rd, and Max Frick that time trailing in at the back. So a good win for Martin Vasilik, moves him on to 10 points, and Woofenden in a good position on 8 points right now. But Martin Vasilik, we said it in the build-up to that race.
Yeah, he's looking good.
Number 1 and looking really good tonight.
Yeah, it was tied initially, and there's no question that down the back straight as they enter turn 3, that Woofenden really had to turn the bike almost inside out. He's got speed here, look. Just for a moment, it looked like he might have got up the inside, but the skills of Woofenden made sure that he didn't clout the side of Martin Vasilik. Again, from the tapes, you've got Max Frick, who's struggled for points after winning a race. And there's no doubt that Anders Thompson gets the better of the Australian, and he slips into 3rd place. There's that moment where Woofenden realises at the last second he's not going to get by. If he keeps going, there's going to be drama. And he turns the bike hard to make sure that he avoids the Slovakian coming back across in front of him. But for Martin, that was a smashing ride, and he was in the right place throughout the 4 laps, and he'll be pleased to go on to 10 points. He's assured of a semi-finals place now. Looking good, Martin, tonight.
Yeah.
Won here 2 years ago. Fond memories, good memories of this place.
Yeah, thumbs up from Martin. Smashing fella as well. We know that. He's a great guy.
He asked me to go running with him last year.
That was at breakfast, wasn't it?
It was at breakfast. Ordinarily, if I hadn't have had a big fry-up, I probably would have gone. But, you know, circumstances were... Timing wasn't quite right, Nigel.
No, absolutely. There'll be another time, Martin. Heat number 14. And this man in blue, Bartosz Marslik, has ridden beautifully tonight. Cracking lineup, isn't it? Mati Zegar off the inside has ridden well. Marslik unbeaten. Matt Sajanowski 5 points. Last place is the big blot on his copybook tonight. Leon Madsen going off the outside in yellow. Now, Smarslik from gate 2 has been superior. He's been head and shoulders above anybody else tonight. He's been making the starts magnificently. He was unlucky to be called back in his last ride first time, but then lucky to get away with it in the rerun, which was ironic. But anyway, maybe a bit of a leveler, who knows. Heat 14 it is. That's Matej Zegar, the Slovenian, off the inside gate. Now, into that first turn. Smarslik's got there in blue. Now he's going to hold mid-track and just clear off down the back straight. Look how clear he is now.
Easy.
Making it look so easy. Absolutely, that's a great word to use, Kel. Zegar second now. Leon Madsen battling with Matsej Janowski, and Janowski is at the back here. It's Smarslik, Zegar, Madsen, Janowski after the first lap.
Well, the race is over. You know, he just coming out of that first corner, everything absolutely perfect, nailed it. Fires away at the front. Zegar hanging on for second place. Madsen battling in third. Janowski, that's a shock again. He's out the back. Once again, not being able to put the performance that he really needs to together. This is a big, big night for Smarslik. Powering away out in front, going to sweetly move on to 12 points. Zegar hanging on for second.
Slow down, Bartosz, you're boring. Only joking. Looking brilliant. Bartosz Smarslik and the home fans are delighted with that.
Ooh.
Certainly very tight for second spot.
Madsen may have just stolen it coming out of the last corner. I don't know if Zegar had a problem. Smarslik delighted, clearly. So quick. It was a brilliant first corner. And he really was no stopping him there. I've got to see the replay again. It looked very close on the run to the line for second place.
Zegar second, Leon Madsen was third.
Well, it's very in the times, crikey.
Yeah, but Bartosz Smarslik, 4 wins out of 4. And as I said earlier, owned another race. Owning the race. Brilliant from Bartosz Smarslik. Well, he's just in complete control, confidence, ability.
He's in a class of his own so far, isn't
Absolutely.
he? And we'll see it here again out of gate number 2. He'd won his previous 2 races from the inside gate, but gate 2, well, it's no problem for him. Look at that bike absolutely working a treat. By the end of the back straight on the opening lap, he's got about 20 metres and he's in front, and the race is over for the win. Madsen on the outside, struggling for point. Janowski, this is not what we wanted to see from him.
He's up against it for the semi. He's got to win his last ride now, really.
Up and down performance tonight, and we were
2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, all or nothing. Here we see Zegar and Madsen having a bit of a go down the back straight. No room there, Leon. You're not coming by me there. Zegar hanging on for second place. It was very, very tight on the run to the line as they came out of turn 4. For the checkered flag. Smarslik winning, unbeaten so far, 12 points to his name. Who can beat the world champion tonight?
Nobody at the moment. Absolutely, on the evidence of so far, nobody. And he's beaten 12 riders so far tonight.
Class act, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got 1 ride to go. Can he make the semi-finals on a maximum? But again, we emphasise in the point system, the scoring in the final is what really matters. You can have an 18-point maximum going into the final, but if you finish last in the final, you end up scoring 14 points.
Yeah, it's there's plenty of chatter about it on social media already after the first 2 rounds. I'm going to keep my powder dry a little bit until we see the outcome of the series, but there's no doubt that Freddie Lindgren in the first meeting definitely benefited from the new point scoring.
It's not like you to keep your powder dry.
Well, I just want to see how it pans out, but you know, you can't deny that Freddie Lindgren benefited from the new system in Wrocław, didn't he? You know, like he had 7 points, he had 9, I think, and ended up with 14. So he did okay, but
cashed in.
He did cash in, but he's doing well tonight, and he is somebody that could threaten Smarslik on his performances so far.
Right, Lindgren off the inside. Karchmarch is off too. Can he sit still and allow the tapes to go up here? No doubt that he was a very nervous young man. That's why he demolished the tapes. Mikkelsen off 3. Jason Doyle just not been his night again. He's off the outside gate. They get away this time. And look at Doyle. My goodness, where's he found that from? Jason Doyle from 4th. Gate number 4 across to the lead. A superb first turn. He absolutely nailed the start there. Lindgren's coming hard underneath him here, though, and really putting the pressure on. And it's Jason Doyle who has that lead. It is Freddie Lindgren's second. Rafael Karchmarch is third, beating
Whoa, Karchmarch was momentarily into second there. Nice, good move from him with Freddie Lindgren setting about Jason Doyle. Doyle's out in front, but he's not totally comfortable. A smashing start from the Australian from the outside, just beginning to get a little bit of breathing space. This is good from Doyle. Certainly working overtime. Mikkelson's at the back.
Yeah, that's disappointing for Mikkel Mikkelsen. I was just about to say that, beating the injury substitute for Martin Smolinski. Mikkel Mikkelsen, of course. That'll be a major disappointment for Mikkel, because he started with a win and now he's going to go with 3 zeros on his back. But Jason Doyle, this is a huge moment for Jason. He'll feel much happier about that now. He's avoided 1 or 2 scares tonight, it has to be said. And that was a great win for him to lower the colours of Freddie Lindgren. Well done, Jason Doyle. Good to see. And look at him punching the air. 59.8 is winning time. And on his way back to the pits, and just any crumb of comfort for Jason. He'll take that, because this is round 3 and he's had real problems in the Grand Prix series so far. But he looked real. That was the real Jason Doyle, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know he's never going to throw the towel in. He's a real hard grafter, and there's no question that he's coming out full of confidence and giving it absolutely everything. Smashing start from the outside. We haven't seen many people get to the first corner in front. And he does. The bike really does hook up nicely there, gets the better of the opposition and stays there. I thought for a moment that Lindgren was going to have the speed here and get the better of the Australian, but this time Doyle has got the speed, and he maintains his lead throughout the 4 laps and picks up a very handy 3 points, and he's not out of the semi-finals. One more good ride could just about see the Australian through. Freddie Lindgren's there. He's looking good. He moves on to 10, and he's looking really strong, the Swede, tonight. And Kashmarsh, this was quite a handy ride here, momentarily into second place there, but can't quite hang on. And Mikkelsen, well, don't know quite what's gone on there. He just can't buy a point this at the moment in his last 3 races. But Jason Doyle, this could just spark him into life here. This is a good ride from him, and let's hope he can pick up now and move on in his last ride, because, well, 6 points, win another one, and he's definitely in the semi-finals. And he can still win the Grand Prix and come away with 20 World Championship points. How about that?
Well, you can tell he's a bit happier there, because he didn't point to the camera and tell the cameraman to clear off.
He didn't kick it. No.
Good old Doyley.
There you go.
Right, heat number 16 is coming up, and after this race, every rider will have completed 4 rides, and a big outing now for Artem Laguta in red. 2 points from 3 rides. He really needs 2 wins now to give himself any opportunity, any chance of making the semi-finals. Artem Laguta off the inside then. Niels Christian Iversen goes off gate number 2. Emil Seifutinov, 2 points for him off 3, and Antonio Limbach off the outside.
This is where the new point scoring system can benefit you if you can turn your night around. Even if you just creep into the semi-finals, and you can still win the meeting and come away with 20 points. So everything to race for Artem Laguta, and a disappointing night so far, but he's on the inside gate here.
Yep, let's see if he can cash in here. Rider number 222, but Seifudinov's made a beauty. The Russians battling away up top here, and that's better from Emil. He has the advantage right now alongside his Speedway of Nations fellow winner, Artem Laguta. 3rd place is Niels Christian Iversen right now, and Antonio Limbach is at the back. This is more like it from Emil Seifutinov. He's got a lot of fans all over the world, Emil. Will be delighted to see him doing so much better here now.
Yeah, much better from the Rocket. He's out in front. Good start. Looking fast. Going to move on to 5 points with 1 ride to come. Still a chance. If he can make a start like that in his 5th ride, who knows? Artem Laguta was desperately looking for himself to be in front, but it doesn't look like he's going to do that. An improvement, there's no question about that, but is it too little, too late? We'll have to wait and see. But for the 2 Russians, we're used to seeing them out in front like this, riding with each other in the Speedway of Nations. This time they're up against each other. But for Emil, this is a much-needed win.
Yeah, big victory for Emil Seifutinov. The white helmet colour, much more like it. Laguta 2nd there, Iversen in 3rd place. Every rider's now completed 4 rides, and in the context of the race for the semi-final places now, Emil Seifutinov with that win has put himself on a 5 points, and a win in his last ride might give him just a squeak of getting into the semi-finals. So Smarslik the leader on 12, and then you have Lindgren and Vasilik on 10 apiece. Ty Wolfenden on 8, and at 16 races completed now in the Edward Jansarch Stadium.
We'll see it again. Everybody behaving themselves on the start line, and the way they go. Initially, I thought that Artem Laguta might get there, but it's a great start from gate 3 from Emil Sayfutunov. He's comfortably into the lead and allows the bike to run wider. This last race, of course, the track is now developed, it's evolved, and you can allow the bike to run a bit wider. It's just got a bit more grip there. Artem Laguta hugging the inside, and the two Russians dominate here. Iversen will be a touch frustrated, but wasn't able to pick up a point. But for these two lads out in front, they'll be pleased with this result, particularly Sayfutunov.
Yeah, much more like it then from Emil. And as I say, a win in his last ride, you never know. Bit of a grading break coming up here now between heats 16 and 17. The action hasn't been as spectacular as it was in Wrocław, but we have seen some close, tense racing, that's for sure. And again, a game changer really when it comes to the World Championship. Maciej Janowski has only got 5 points.
Yeah.
He could miss out on a semi-final place, for goodness sake.
Well, this is where, as I say, the point scoring system, if you can just get yourself in there, you can still get amongst the big points at the end of the night. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily penalise you too badly if you haven't gone quite as well as you would have liked. So we'll see.
Well, Matty, you've been slowly but steadily bringing in the seconds each time. It's not necessarily about the points, as long as you're in the semis, and you are in that standing at the moment to get through to the semis. So some good points, really.
Yeah, I know, sounds good when you say it, but to be honest, I would love to have some threes. I'm missing a fraction from the gate. I'm just missing every time, half a meter coming in the corner. So now I know basically that I'm in a semi, so me and my team decided to make a bit of risk with the setup to see if this is going to work better from the gate or not. So fingers crossed and full gas.
Okay, so next heat you're going out of blue gate.
Gate two, blue. Blue's my color.
Oh, it is? Okay,
yeah,
this is
I
good.
love it.
This is good. Okay, tell me about the track. It seems to have changed through the night.
Track's the same. It's just typical Grozow track. I was here 7 years, so no surprises, to be honest. As I said before, it is important to make gates, like every meeting in Speedway, to be honest.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you in the final.
Hi, everybody in England. Steve-o.
Thanks, Matty.
Rock solid tonight on second place. Is a little frustrated, no threes to his name, but he's looking forward to coming out of gate 2. And I think he'll be in. Another point that should be enough. Freddie Lindgren doing good work tonight. He's in the semi-finals on 10 already.
Here's Jason Doyle now.
Okay, Jason, that's what you've been after all night, a good win out there.
That's what I've been after all year. I'm just doing silly mistakes. The first heat should have stayed around the inside. I went chasing the dirt, and then, yeah, I went from first to last. It's just not happening, but yeah, get a bit of a confidence boost with a win, and now we can move forward, and that puts me in line just to make the semis if I have a good another last race.
Exactly. Well, it's not all about the points, it's just about getting into the semis, and like you said, you're right there, so you can still do this.
Yeah, of course it's all different this year, and sometimes it plays a big part if you just scrape in and you got no pressure to do in the semi and the final. So we'll keep pushing. The boys are doing a great job. It's just the rider that needs to pick up his game.
Okay, well, on the whole, the red gate is working, and we are going in for the red gate for you next heat.
Well, hopefully it's lucky gate red.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Jason.
you. Cheers.
Well, it's nice to hear some positivity coming out of the Aussie camp, and Jason did ride well there. Quite self-critical, actually, there. On the evidence of the first couple of Grand Prix, he hasn't had the speed he would have liked, but he's giving himself an outside chance of going through this evening. You've got to battle hard, and there's no better man on your side than Jason Doyle. You'd want him in the trenches with you, that's for sure, Doyley. You'd look over your shoulder and he'd be there right with you. A tough man, and he's going to battle right the way through. Janowski needs points in his last ride. He's out in heat 17. He's out in gate 2 in heat 17 up against Lindback, Mikkelsen and Thompson. Must have a chance of winning it. Probably needs to win it if he wants to keep his championship on track. Brilliant 2 weeks ago with a second and a win. 38 championship points. Been up and down tonight, Nige.
Yes, indeed. And this next batch of 4 races will then establish the qualifiers for the semi-finals here, as we see our last bit of track grading. There's going to be some water going down after that, and then the riders will be pushed off for the... What about this fella, Mikkel Mikkelsen? Started with a win, and then he's just run last places ever since. I mean, it's just... It must do a rider's head in, Kel.
It does, because he seemed really confident when he was interviewed after his first ride, but then hasn't scored another point. I mean, this man, Antonio Lindback, we're not mentioning him because he's just not doing anything. And to be perfectly honest, when it's going like that in the Grand Prix, it's absolutely awful. It doesn't do you any good at all, because it's a very harsh environment if you're not in top form. And certainly Mikkel Mikkelsen in as a replacement for Martin Smolinski is finding it tough. He sort of says, I'm here having fun and all the rest of it, but I tell you what, World Championship, yes, you want to enjoy your racing, but it's not really fun. It's a tough environment, and you've got to come to terms with it. And maybe he can finish with a bit of a rattle here and come back tomorrow and have a better night.
Yes, and the fact that sadly he didn't make it as the European champion, because the rule of introducing the European champion into the Grand Prix series has only been introduced for this year, which was Robert Lambert, of course. Mikkelsen, the European champion last year.
Yeah, but the previous year they did, so it was a bit of an odd one, but he's in anyway as a bit of good fortune, but he hasn't quite capitalised on it. His performances in the Extraliga have been good over recent seasons, and winning that European Championship was a real feather in his cap, and I know he was disappointed not to be picked, but now he's in. You kind of feel that he needs to be doing slightly better than he is if he's to convince people that he warrants to... Well, if he's a Grand Prix rider, simple as that, you know. It is a big step up, no question about it.
Huge step up, and of course we all no doubt wonder what Robert Lambert will do next year. I mean,
I think he's ready.
He's done well, hasn't he, this year? He's taken a big step forward this year.
I think he's maturing nicely. I would be very surprised. Of course, he's going to have, you know, tough times. All riders have tough times in the GPs, but I think that Robert Lambert will... I'd like to think that Robert Lambert will acquit himself well next season. Be good to see 2 Brits as well. We've had Wolfenden's a pretty lonely guy.
Yeah,
sort of
flying the flag on his own.
Exactly, and you know, I'm sure he'd be happy for some company.
Here comes the water cart. The riders, though, ready to go out.
Well, what happens?
17 of them.
What will happen now? It will be greasy, and you'll see guys who'll have to stick to the inside for the first few laps. So the inside gates may prove to be an advantage. On paper here, you've got to say that Janowski is the favourite, and this has fallen quite nicely for him, you know, because he needs this. He's on 5 in 8th, but he's very vulnerable. You know, riders that haven't been going well tonight, you know, Janowski, Saifutinov, and Iversen there, those 3 I would suggest are the ones that are battling for 8th place. If they can win their last ride, that's going to be very handy indeed. It's going to be really tight on countback tonight, I think.
Looking that way, with Janowski on 5. Look, like you said, all those riders on 5 points, and then 4 just behind them as well. This is a crucial now.
I think really... Laguta would be lucky to get in on 4. If he could get 7, maybe, but I don't think so tonight.
Yes, but, and 1 race to go apiece, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it pans out. With heat number 17 coming short. Riders will be pushed off now. There you go, just as I said it.
I wonder what the odds were on Bartosz Szmarslik winning every race over 2 nights.
Could happen. Yep, could happen. Don't rule him out. And, remains to be seen whether Patrick Dudek will join us tomorrow night after withdrawing from the meeting tonight.
He's going to have some therapy, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. He's going to have some treatment, and I don't know. That's if the next round was 2 weeks away, might be a different story. But when it's only 24 hours away, it doesn't give you a lot of time, does it?
No. These are exceptional circumstances, aren't they? And you know, I quite like the idea of double headers, but if you do get hurt, and like he got hurt in his very first race, you know, that really did put him on the back foot big time. And he hasn't really had any opportunity to get any points to his name tonight. So, you know, if he misses out the 2 nights, well, he's going to have to be looked upon kindly, I think, as a wild card pick for next year, really.
Yeah, so heat number 17 coming up then here. And a big race for Maciej Janowski to decide whether he has any chance of a semi-final spot. Heat number 17 it is, then Anders Thompson goes off the inside. He's got 4 points to his name. Now Maciej Janowski, 5 points, still in with a shout of the semi-finals. Antonio Limbach off gate number 3 has once again struggled tonight. And then Mikkelsen going off the outside in yellow. Inexplicable, really. A win in his opening ride, looked really good. And then 3 last places on the bounce. So a big race for Maciej Janowski, the leader of the series before tonight. He's in the blue helmet colour, which means he's in gate 2. On paper, he should do enough.
He's the favourite here for me, Nige, and he's got to show some mettle now if he can come up with a win now. But he's going to need a win if he wants to make the semis.
A little movement at the start again. Janowski has got there. I think maybe it was Limbach who made that move, but Janowski is there. And watch it, the man in yellow now really pushing hard. Mikkelsen through into third. Is Limbach now battling away with Anders Thompson, but Maciej Janowski looking good. Limbach getting really stuck in here. That's good to see from Antonio. The man in the yellow helmet colour is Mikkelsen, but Janowski has the race lead, should go on here to finish on 8 points from his 4 rides.
Yeah, I was half expecting the red lights to come on there, but they haven't done. But Janowski got away nicely, although it was a little untidy. He's pulling away. Mikkelsen looking better, a bit out of shape there. He's gone very wide indeed with Antonio Limbach in third and Anders Thompson, the wild card at the back. But this is exactly what Janowski needed to do. Wasn't the strongest race on paper, but sometimes they can trip you up, and with a freshly prepared track, you just don't quite know what's going to happen. But for him, this was vital, and he picks up the 3 points. Should make the semi-finals now.
Maciej Janowski with a victory then in the blue helmet colour. That's his second win of the night as well. That goes in his favour at the same time as when it comes to countback. Disappointing end to the evening for Anders Thompson. And again, we remind you, they have to pick themselves up and dust themselves down, ready for another meeting in the Grand Prix tomorrow night. So back-to-back Grand Prix is unprecedented. Of course, in Speedway many times, we've known on bank holidays in particular, you race at 11 in the morning and you race at 7:30 at night. So there you go. Yeah, big win for Maciej Janowski. He needed that. 8 points now for Magic, and in to 4th place after his 5 outings overall now. Good ride from Janowski.
Yes.
It didn't dominate the race. I mean, he was leading from start to finish, but he didn't pull clear like we've seen other riders pull clear.
No, the track was just a little bit slippery early doors. Untidy start with Antonio Limbach actually in the end penalising himself. We see it here when Mikkelsen on the outside of him. It looks like he might be able to sort of do something from there. Janowski's sort of got most of it covered for at the early stage of the race. They're quite closely bunched here with Antonio Limbach coming up the inside. I think he just loses momentum then momentarily at the end of the first lap, Janowski, and it makes it look closer than it actually really was. The longer the race goes on, the better he goes. And there's no question that his Mitas tyre this evening was working quite nicely for him there, having won previously on the Analyst tyre, which is not available this evening. But for him, that should be enough. That should be enough with 2 race wins on 8 points to make the semi-finals tonight.
Yeah, we talk about back-to-back meetings Friday, Saturday, but of course, I think when you were on the long track on the continent, Kelv, did you do two long tracks in a day?
Yeah, I remember once we rode in northern Germany, and then we flew down to southern France and rode in southern France at Marmande in the evening. It was an incredible day. Yeah, I was quite tired after. But yeah, you did all sorts of crazy things.
Profitable day?
Wasn't bad, yeah. It wasn't bad. I think I may have won both meetings, so it was okay.
Right, okay. Well, we'll find that on Google or...
Marmande, I mean, that was a big night. That was on Bastille night. Fantastic, really good fun.
Heat 18 coming up. Artem Laguta on 4 points. We'll probably miss out now on the semi-finals. Maciej Zagar, gate 2 on 8 points. Martin Vaclik has ridden lovely tonight, 10 points, as has Freddie Lindgren, also on 10 points. Heat number 18 it is. The outside 2 gate positions. Martin Vaclik and Freddie Lindgren, they know they are in the semi-finals, and so is Maciej Zagar off 2, probably. Look at that, Artem Laguta, where's he found that from all of a sudden? off the inside gate. He's got the lead now. He's going to be chased hard, though, I'm quite sure, by Martin Vasilik in the white helmet colour. Lindgren is third in yellow, and the man at the back is Mate Zagar. But here comes Vasilik now, putting the pressure on Artem Laguta going into lap 2.
Indeed he was. Just thought for a moment that Vasilik was going to get the better of the Russian, but he couldn't quite get there. Zagar went nowhere off the start. Gate 2 did not work for him, although he quite fancied it. Artem Laguta out in front. It's the first time he's hit the front this evening, and he's just about hanging on because Vasilik's been quick all night. So is Lindgren. They're all packing in behind him, but this will be an improvement, and maybe Artem will come back tomorrow and really turn it around and come up trumps. 7 points probably won't be quite enough this evening, but at least he's going to have a race win.
Yep, that's going to be probably, as you say, Kelv, insufficient, but we'll see. We've got a couple of races to go here in this Grand Prix in Grozow tonight, and it's a win for Artem Laguta. And Martin Vasilik worked hard early on there.
I'll tell you what, somebody who might be struggling now is Zagar. He's had 4 second places, no race wins.
Yes.
Slow race time there, much slower than previously. But there's no doubt that missing out on the last ride there, Zagar may be under pressure now with only 8 points and just 4 second places.
Yeah, I still think 8 points.
You reckon it'd be enough, Nige?
Yeah, I think so. I have been wrong in the past, of course, many times. But when
you're never wrong.
But when you look further down, Laguta 7, Doyle 6. But we've still got 2 races to go. And Laguta will be disappointed over his night's work, even though he's finished with a win.
He will be, because he started poorly, and you just sensed that coming into the weekend he should have been full of confidence after his first 2 rounds, but it wasn't to be. But this might just spur him on to have an improved performance tomorrow. He's going to need to if he wants to stay in the championship chase. Hits the front off the inside, he's in the right place. Track's still a little bit greasy here, and guys were struggling to really pass. Vasilik has a go around the outside, but Laguta covers it nicely. I thought here was when he chopped back to the inside. I thought he might be able to get up the inside as they start the second lap. Lindgren back in third place. He couldn't land a blow, and big disappointment for Zagar. He'll be keeping his fingers crossed that doesn't cost him a place in the semis. But for Artem, I'm not sure. I may be incorrect. I'm just going on instinct here. I don't know if 7's going to be enough tonight.
Well,
interesting how the inside gates have worked really well for him, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, he started so poorly and just finished strongly, so he'll be hoping tomorrow he can pick up where he left off tonight.
So, coming in the red helmet here is Viktor Yazinski for Patrick Dudek. And as we say, it remains to be seen whether Patrick will ride here tomorrow night, whether Bartosz Smektala may be called in. There is Viktor Yazinski, got a point in his opening ride. And the other reserve, Rafał Kaszmarz, has got a point under his belt as well. So Yazinski off the inside, the young reserve, then it's Ty Woffinen off 2, Bartosz Smarslik off 3. And Niels Christian Iversen going off the outside. So young Viktor Yazinski has got 2 world champions on the outside of him.
Nothing to worry about at all. But could be quite an interesting race here. Fabulous semi-final in Wrocław last 2 weeks ago between Smarslik and Woffinen. One of the best races we've seen for some time. Interesting to see what happens here.
Yep, heat 19 it is then, and that's a good start from Smarslik. Woffinen's holding the inside run, he's going to go wide. Now Smarslik will try to chop up the inside. Woffinen, though, has got the savvy around this race, around this track. He knows how to ride it, and he's riding beautifully. It's a question of whether he's got the speed. He's leading Smarslik. Woffinen, the first man to lead Bartosz Smarslik on the night. Niels Christian Iversen is third, and the young reserve Yazinski is at the back.
Brilliant first corner from Woffenden. Classy move from the 3-time world champion. Smarslik won't like that. Up the inside, he's chasing him hard. Definitely doesn't want to get beat by Woffenden. Round the middle of the track. Woffenden up high and wide. 2 world championship riders really going at it here. Smarslik right around the outside. 1 lap to go. This is good stuff, Nige.
They're at it again. Remember that semi-final in Wrocław? Smarslik in white. Woffenden in blue has just gone on 1 wheel there, but he just holds out in the lead. Coming into turns 3 and 4. He's got to hold out the Smarslik attack here. That is a great ride from Woffenden.
Brilliant ride from Woffenden, Nige. That just shows the class of the man. Smarslik came into the race unbeaten. He lays down a marker there. He really does up it when he needs to, doesn't he, Woofenden? Brilliant speedway again between the two of them.
They really respect each other as well, don't they? They enjoy racing against each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect between them. There's no question that they're probably not the best of mates, but there's no doubt that they race brilliantly against each other. Woofenden and Smarslik putting on a masterclass there.
Yep, a point for Everson there and Victor Jasinski at the back. This is how it looks now. And as I say, 8 points looking good for your semi-final spot. And Ty Woofenden with a brilliant win, absolutely stunning win. Good speedway race, because I'll tell you what, Smarslik threw everything he had at Ty Woofenden there.
Yeah, the kitchen sink came out here, didn't it? Big time. First turn was superb from Woofenden. Just allowed the bike to creep up that banking and hit the dirt. Smarslik just could not quite get round the outside of him. He thought he was going to, he wanted to. Big time here, but Woofenden's in the driving seat there, had every right to rush across the corner like that. Then he had the speed, he had the presence of mind to put the bike in exactly the right place at the right time. He's not too predictable. Smarslik tries the inside, he tries the outside, he throws the kitchen sink at him, but he cannot get by Woofenden. And there's no question that these two boys love racing against each other. They put on a great display. They did it last time out in Wrocław in the semi-final. And here in Heat 19, they do it again. Super Speedway.
Got an idea.
Go on then.
Why don't we have the old golden helmet match race before every Grand Prix between Ty Woofenden and Bartosz Smarslik? Best of 3 before every Grand Prix, just to add a bit of entertainment.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd be happy to do that.
Did you ride in the golden helmet?
No, do you know what? That phased out just as I started riding. I witnessed it.
Racing,
I witnessed it a couple of times, but it was quite exciting.
Yeah.
But Woofenden has turned his night around. He finishes on 11 points, and he's been really strong in his last 3 rides. He's just quietly going about his business, and there, when it looked like Smarslik was going to go through the card, comes out and beats him on his own patch. Impressive.
Jason Doyle off the inside here, a win for him, and he's through. Max Frick goes off gate 2. He's probably not going to make it tonight now. Leon Madsen going off gate 3 in white, needs a win. Emil Sayfutdinov off gate 4 in yellow, needs a win.
He does indeed, you're absolutely right. And Jason Doyle on the inside might just be in the right place here. Sayfutdinov on the outside. Oh, a big race here we go.
Yeah, Doyle on the inside gate has got the lead early on, but now it's all about who gets the speed in the dirt. Madsen into second place right now, and he comes through on the inside of Doyle. That's a hard move, but a fair move from Leon Madsen. Jason Doyle is in second. Emil Sayfutdinov is third right now. And the man in the blue helmet, Max Frick, is having a go at Emil Sayfutdinov in yellow in third place, but that was a good move from Madsen, and this could be crucial for Leon Madsen now.
Yeah, he needed to make that move. He came charging up the inside. It was hard but fair. Doyle just couldn't resist that move. Sayfutdinov's going to miss out here this evening. Just looked like he might have been able to find his way back to the semi-finals, but it's not going to work out. Madsen, fair play to him when he really needed it. He's come up with a fast ride here. Doyle becoming under pressure here from Sayfutdinov in second place. Yeah, it's not going to work out for the Russian, but for Madsen, this is a brilliant ride, right at when he needed it.
Yeah, he certainly timed his move to perfection there. Leon Madsen and Jason Doyle in second spot. Moves him on to 8 points as well there, so it's down to the FIM jury, of course, to officially declare the standings after 20 races. But that is a big win for Leon Madsen, who has really dug deep to get through to the semi-finals tonight. Jason Doyle second, Emil Sayfutdinov third, and Max Frick at the back. But yeah, great ride from Madsen. He'll be in the semi-finals, all right.
Well, yeah, Leon Madsen not quite at his best, but he's battled hard. And he had a poor ride in his previous race, but has pulled out all the stops here in his last ride to pick up the 3 points and make sure he's in business for the semi-finals. A lot of speed around that first corner. Initially, it's Jason Doyle, the Aussies on the inside there. Frick just loses out. Sayfutdinov cannot build on that race win previously. Here's the move that seals the win. He chops to the inside. Of course, these two lads are teammates for Czestochowa in the Extraliga, Doyle and Madsen, but Madsen has the upper hand here. Doyle working hard in second place. That might be enough for him. You've got to believe it is for Madsen. But Emil Saifutinov, his night is done, and another disappointing night. He has to find something a bit better for tomorrow. This is the move. While Doyle was bashing up against the side of the safety fence down the back straight, Madsen just got himself in the right place. Emil Saifutinov coming on strong towards the end of the race, but it's not enough. And for Leon, well, yeah, he's pretty chuffed, and he's given himself a chance of going further tonight. Not quite as dominant as he was last year, but he's hanging in there.
He's working hard, all right, and you just get the sense, don't you, Kel, that he really has to dig deep to get the best out of himself and his equipment.
I just sense that his fitness is not quite what it was. He hasn't been able to train like he would have done previously with the operations he's been having.
Yes.
There would have been a certain amount of rehabilitation to take into consideration after having surgery. And, you know, that does take its toll when you're fully fit and you've been able to do the hard yards in the winter to get yourself ready. That does make a difference to your confidence. So, you know, he's battling hard and he's hanging in there.
Yep. So we'll get the final confirmation very shortly, and we'll get the pick for gate positions for the 2 semi-finals very shortly as well. It's not been a bad Grand Prix, Kel, by any means. It's just not lived up to Wrocław, has it? It's going to be hard to, anyway.
Wrocław was sensational. I thought tonight was going to be really, really good after the first 4 races, but it's kind of plateaued off. There's been a few moments where it's happening, but it's not a bad meeting by any stretch of the imagination. And the race between Woofenden and Schmarzlik, it didn't pass each other, but it was certainly very exciting to watch.
It was a terrific speedway race.
And those 2 youngsters there look like they're enjoying it. Good to see kids here. You get a lot of kids at Polish Speedway, of course.
You do.
Parents taking their children
and
along.
they're filling out a programme instead of being sat on an iPhone or an iPad or you know, whatever. They're filling out a programme.
That's not a bad thing, is it?
It's great. It's brilliant. Absolutely. Of course,
right,
when we were kids, nobody had the choice. Right, so 8 points was enough. It's clear cut. And Jason Doyle has made the semi-finals with that 2nd place, and it's all clear cut, no problem. Schmarzlik 14.
Well, Zagar a touch fortunate there after running a last in his last ride, but he'll be delighted to make the semi-finals.
He can score 20 points tonight.
Exactly, that's what I've said earlier, that this is where the point system does benefit you. If you just creep in, you still can win the Grand Prix and come away with 20 points. So there's the points handed out to Artem Laguta after scoring a whole hatful last weekend and coming in with 32. He's only got 8 tonight, so he will move on to 40 World Championship points, but he will be well, he'll be cut adrift a little bit. He'll need a big night tomorrow night to get himself right back on track, Nige.
Indeed he will. So yeah, it's a disappointment for Artem, that's for sure.
Well, he's on 40 now. You've got to believe that he's going to be down probably... Well, he might still be in the top 4. Depends on what Freddie Lindgren and Schmarzlik do. You've got to believe that Schmarzlik... You know, Madsen on 18, he needs to win it. That'll put him on 38. But all sorts of permutations.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good to see. And we're back tomorrow night. I keep saying tomorrow night. That's in Europe, of course. Our Australian friends will be in the early hours of the morning. I hope you're all well and enjoying watching the action. Delighted that Doyley's made the semi-final. Just that one race has really boosted Jason Doyle, hasn't it, winning that heat?
Well, he got 5 points from his last 2 outings, and that's really helped him out. And, you know, he's the sort of guy that, with his experience, he knows how to capitalise on certain situations. There's not a massive advantage on the start gates. I just hope that conditions don't dictate that it's a disadvantage to be on the outside, for example.
Right, I think we're about ready very shortly now for the riders to step up and make their picks for the semi-final gate positions. And, well, Bartosz quicker than our cameraman.
He's ready.
He's ready. And Ty's going for gate 2.
Well, we've got a replay, of course, heat 19. Janowski.
Look at this.
This is some semi-final.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's warrants to being the final, really.
Absolutely. So Doyley is off gate 4. So it's quite a lineup. You've got 2 world champions. You've got the leader of the series before tonight, we got 3 world champions because Doyle is there.
That is one heck of a lineup.
It's a tremendous lineup.
Yeah, I'd rather be in semi-final 2.
Take the easy way out. Well, there's no such easy race in the
There isn't an
Grand
easy
Prix.
race at this time, but that is some lineup.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that any of them are going to miss out.
Indeed it is. So
we've now got Martin Vasilik, who's
yeah.
going to go off the inside. The inside gate's working well, and probably on the stats is the strongest one.
Where's Freddie going? Oh, there you go. Same method as the first semi-final.
So now gate 3 for Leon Madsen. What, gate 3 or gate 4? He's not quite sure. Yeah, gate 3.
Anytime today, Leon.
Not quite sure. Gate, he doesn't know. Gate 3 it is.
Right, okay.
Gate 3 it is, and that means that Zagar will go
Matty
from the...
Zagar, yeah.
Zagar will go from the outside.
Well done, Matty, yeah. I think that
Well-
was an opportunity to showcase all his sponsors, don't you, Kel?
Yeah, well, he didn't do too badly. It looks like he's quite... he does a bit of yoga, doesn't he? Looks like he's quite flexible.
Yeah.
But Zagar's won here before, so don't rule him out. Vasilik has also won here before, so both those two lads will be quite keen. The first semi-final on paper looks a thriller, doesn't it? It really does look very tasty indeed. So,
yeah. Going to be some disappointed big names there in the first semi-final. Big time. So,
well, this is where the bigger points start getting handed out. So, making the final tonight, you've got to believe that Smarslik and Woofenden, Janowski will be desperately disappointed if he doesn't make the final. He may be a touch fortunate to make the final tonight on his performances, but there's no question that Woofenden and Smarslik have been much more consistent than Janowski. But this is where this system can still work for you. You know, he's got 8 points, but he can still go away with 20.
Yes.
There's still the potential for 20 World Championship points for Janowski. All of them, of course, all 8 of them. But when you haven't had such a good night, it's still all on. Here we are.
Well, this is the point-scoring system now. Anybody in the semi-final can score 20 points tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they get through to the final. The winner of the meeting gets 20 Grand Prix points. And runner-up gets 18, 16, 14, and then it goes down 1 point at a time for those that didn't make the final, starting at 12, 11, 10, 9, etc. So, yeah, that's the system for this season. And Maciej Janowski left it late to sneak into the semi-finals.
Yeah, 2 good starts, and he's got another 20 points, and he'll move on to, crikey, 58.
58, yep.
And that would be a massive boost when he has not been at his best tonight. So it's all to race for Jason Doyle. He could do it. He hasn't been, he's certainly been battling hard and has found points hard to come by, but he's in there, and he'll give it absolutely everything. But you just sense the 2 lads on the inside here, Smarslik and Woofenden. It would be a surprise to see them not go through to the semi-finals, but it's a heck of a lineup for semi-final 1.
It is. Riders waiting now for the final stages of the grading break. Although, of course, I think they'll put some more water down now as well on the back of the track grading. So still another couple of minutes or so to go before we press on with the action. But the riders, this must be so frustrating because the boys just want to get out there, don't they?
Well, they must have been called up, but now suddenly they're all ready to go, and then they've got to wait. So here we go now. They've been called forward now. And nice little ramp for them to run down under the bridge as they emerge into the arena.
Proper entrance like gladiators, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely right.
Through the tunnel.
It's an impressive stadium as well when you get out there as well.
Yeah.
It's a superb speedway stadium, to be honest.
It is. The pits adjacent to offices, a permanent building where club offices are, and
well, it was the original track, and they put the new stadium around it. Some of the buildings behind are still some of the original Eastern Bloc ones. You can see the character of that, but the stadium itself is terrific. So we've got a terrific semi-final coming up, and it'll be interesting to see if Woofenden can beat Smarslik again. Can Janowski pull a bit of a rabbit out of the hat now and deny one of the 2 world champions a final place tonight. This is quite a lineup, Nige.
It is. Fantastic lineup for the first semi-final is on the way here in Grozow. What a lineup. Settle back, enjoy. Bartosz Marslik off the inside. Ty Woffinden going off gate number 2. Maciej Janowski goes off gate number 3. And Jason Doyle in the yellow helmet off the outside gate. 3 out of the 4 riders are world champions.
Wow.
In this first semi-final. What a lineup. And can Maciej Janowski cash in on his late run to the semi-finals with a win in his last ride? Well, 8 points he scored, but he can still score 20 Grand Prix points if he wins the meeting.
Absolutely right, and I think Jason Doyle might be a spoiler here and beat them all. But there's no question that Janowski, the championship leader, that's why we're talking about him coming in tonight, has struggled so far this evening, has crept into the semi-finals, but still has a chance to walk away with the big prize on the evening. Big race, this one.
Yeah, watch out for Smarslik off the inside. He really has been the best rider on the night, but beaten by Woffinden last time out. Who's going to get into that first turn first? And it's Smarslik off the inside, but Doyley's looking good here in the yellow helmet colour. Jason Doyle around the outside has come through into second place now. What a turnaround for Doyley. The lead is with Bartosz Smarslik. Second place, Jason Doyle. Ty Woffinden third. Maciej Janowski is at the back. Now the pressure on Woffinden to try the inside run, but this is good stuff from Jason Doyle.
Brilliant move from Doyle. He goes wide though. That's dangerous with Woffinden up the inside, but he hangs on out in front. Super stuff from the inside. The inside proved to be crucial there. Doyle's hanging on. This is a terrific turnaround for the Australian, showing so much grit and determination to make his way through to his first final of the year. Smarslik, this is working out perfectly for him with Janowski and Woffinden looking like they're going to miss out on the final tonight. Smarslik down the back straight one more time.
What a performance from Bartosz Smarslik. Absolutely fantastic. He's in the final, and so is Jason Doyle. A remarkable turnaround from Jason Doyle. Ty Woffinden in third place misses out alongside Maciej Janowski, but it has to be said, Jason Doyle, full credit, he has absolutely turned his night around, Kel.
Fabulous stuff from Doyley there. Superb stuff. Really was a shock there with Woffinden and Janowski missing out. Got to say that Smarslik is very fortunate.
Has he got a puncher?
I think he had a puncher coming out of the last corner, and he's a very fortunate man just to get across the line. And all of a sudden, his World Championship fortunes are looking much, much brighter tonight now. 1-2 of his major rivals missing out on the final. He's going to really make big inroads on their leads in the championship. He came into tonight on 27 World Championship points. Wow, it's going to get awfully tight at the top after tonight, that's for sure. But for Smarslik, a brilliant win in the first semi-final.
Wow, Bartosz Smarslik the winner. Jason Doyle in second place there. Ty Woffinden and Maciej Janowski miss out on a place in the final. And Jason Doyle, remember, had got 3 points from 3 rides.
Well, that's how
he's in the final now.
That's how he can come away with 20 by winning the final. Janowski drops the clutch, bang on, but just can't quite get there. Doyley does a fabulous job coming from the outside. Smarslik on the inside has a sneaky look over his shoulder, and Doyle's in the right place at the right time. Gets the better of Woffinden, who's just spinning up a little bit coming out of the first turn. Just can't get the momentum, just has to kill his momentum mid-turn there because he was right up behind Smarslik. That allows Doyle to come through into second place, and that's the way they finish. Brilliant result for the Australian, an even better one for the world champion with his nearest rivals, or strong rivals, missing out on the final tonight.
Absolutely right. So, tremendous effort from Bartosz Smarslik. Congratulations to him and to Jason Doyle. And how lucky was Bartosz when you look at him? Yeah, he's looking up to the sky.
Well, he knows he was running out of air in that rear tyre, and he's just about got across the line. And it certainly has been his night so far. He's ridden superbly well. Only dropped 1 point on track so far this evening. He's in the final. He scored 17 points. If he finishes last in the final, he'll pick up 14 World Championship points, which he'll add to his 27 that he came here with, but he'll be looking for 20, that's for sure.
He will indeed. Started tonight in 5th place, Bartosz Smarslik in the World Championship.
He was 11 points out of the lead, but with Janowski out of the final, that's all going to change.
Big time. And we've still got tomorrow night to come as well, remember? Back at the Edward Janssens Stadium. More again tomorrow. Martin Vasilik off the inside gate in red. Freddie Lindgren off gate 2. Leon Madsen gate 3 in blue, in white. A white helmet colour, but a blue cap there on the caption. Matti Zagar off the outside in yellow. Semi-final number 2. Who will join Smarslik and Doyle in the final in
Madsen.
That's a great start from Leon Madsen from gate number 3.
Oh, he's got away with it.
Lindgren gets the drop. Yeah, now coming around the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Matti Zagar, who's really enjoying himself tonight. The man in the back is Martin Lindgren. Oh, goodness me.
Ruthless move from Freddie Lindgren to take care of Zagar. Forces his way into second place. I thought the red light might come on there. Looked like Madsen had a flyer. Hasn't been stopped, and the Danish boy's away. He's going to make the final. Freddie Lindgren riding his lap once again. Charging through into second place. Looks like he's going to charge into his 3rd final of the year.
Here, Mate, have a little bit of my back wheel. Anyway, Leon Madsen in the white helmet colour is going to head through in the next lap to the grand final at the Edward Janssens Stadium. He's got the race under control. Lindgren second. That looks how it's going to shape up now. And he'll be delighted with that, Freddie Lindgren, because again he's had to do it the hard way, coming round to second place. But Madsen and Lindgren are through to the final, and Freddie Lindgren, I'll tell you what, he is Mr. Consistent in the GP 2020.
Indeed he is. He was looking like he was going to struggle there, but a ruthless move in that bottom corner saw him through. Leon Madsen, well, whether he got away with a roller or not, he made a fabulous start out of gate number 3, and he fires himself into the final tonight. Brilliant move from him. Chuffed to bits to have made it. Madsen and Lindgren through.
Wow, what a performance from Lindgren and Madsen there. The grand final is coming up once the boys have picked their gate positions.
Well, Leon Madsen will be delighted with that. You saw the reaction at the end of the race. He was clearly delighted. No, he makes a great
Perfect start.
He makes a great start. Steentoft gets it absolutely spot on, and so does Leon Madsen, more importantly. And from that moment on, there was nobody going to beat him. Great first corner from Zagar. Zagar must have felt at the early part of the race he was going to join Madsen in the final here. He comes storming round the outside, Lindgren lifting quite violently, and it looked like Zagar was looking good. Just as you were saying, he was enjoying himself. I don't think he enjoyed that. And Freddie Lindgren took the opportunity as Zagar ran too wide. Freddie Lindgren here, this is earlier, as they come out of the first corner. Zagar then elects to go to the outside run. He thinks he's got it under control, but Lindgren, you know, he's a tough customer these days. He charges up the inside, and Zagar has to then put the brakes on to avoid the back wheel of Freddie Lindgren.
Nothing wrong with that in my view, Kel. Just a perfect move from Freddie Lindgren, I reckon.
No, tough move, yeah, absolutely entitled to do it. The room was there, and he took advantage of it. So Madsen through with a smashing start, really nailed it there. He wasn't sure about what start to go for, but in the end, gate 3 worked brilliantly for him.
Vasilik 12 points. Ty Woffenden 11, Janowski 10, and Zagar on 9, Laguta 8, Saifutinov 7, and so it goes on down the pecking order. So Vasilik 12, Woffenden on 11 points tonight.
Well, he's on 43 in total. And
so Janowski will be on 48 now.
Janowski still leads on 48. If Smarslik wins, he'll be on to 47, so Janowski will still lead.
Yeah.
But it's very, very tight. Freddie Lindgren is a big winner here. He could win, and he could move on to 50 to lead the World Championship.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's so consistent, Freddie. He's just doing enough.
That's what they spoke about when they were talking about the new point scoring. You've got to make the finals. Woffenden said it, so did Saifutinov. Make the finals, you're in it.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Freddie's doing. Tonight, he's worked hard for his points as well, because I think he's used a lot of intelligence tonight, Freddie Lindgren. The fact that he is the most experienced rider in terms of Grand Prix ridden.
It's a workmanlike performance.
Yes.
He's had a couple of race wins. There, he wasn't going to win the race, but he took advantage early in the race of Zagar going too wide, and he's that type of guy now, you know what I mean? Like, you cannot relax when Lindgren's in the race, because you know you give him half a yard, he's going to just stick his bike in there and take it away from you, and that's exactly what happened to Zagar. He went from a final position to being at the back. He'll be frustrated, but for Lindgren, he's in this championship, big time.
What do you reckon here? Smarslik in red off gate 1, traps and wins the final?
Yes, I think that you'd be surprised if that didn't happen. He looks so accomplished, and he will be delighted with that to move on to 47 championship points. I think Jason, if he could get away in front of him, if Doyley could trap on top of him and clamp him on the inside, I expect Jason to go for gate 2, if that's the way it works, although Madsen probably will get the second pick. But I think Smarslik's going to be difficult to beat. Yeah,
no surprise.
No surprise.
Yeah.
Smarslik's had gate 1 4 times tonight.
It's quite nice.
That includes the final, which is quite handy.
So here we go with Leon once again, taking his time, wondering what to go for.
Well, he wasn't sure, was he, with gate 3, but he made a fabulous start. He dropped the clutch bang on. He's interested in gate 2. He's got the blue hat on, Nige, as you pointed out earlier on.
Yeah.
He's going gate 2, yeah. Gate 2. You can't give the inside gates to finalists. You've got to cover that.
Freddie, white or yellow?
I think he'll go... Yeah, maybe gate 4. Yeah, gate 4, yeah, Freddie. He can always do... He's very good at that turn back, isn't he? He's done it once tonight already, where he's came charging through the opposition. And Doyley will just be happy, and he has got 14 championship points as a minimum, so he'll be pleased with that. And he's got his... This is much more what we expect from Jason, and that's encouraging for him. Very encouraging.
Good to see him in a final, Jason Doyle, tonight, because...
he only had 8 points.
Yep, 24th final now of his career. It's 57th Grand Prix appearance this evening. And for Freddie Lindgren now is 29th final in 128 Grand Prix, which is quite an achievement. Bartosz Smarslik is now in his 26th final in his 51st Grand Prix, which not a bad record at all. Well,
that's stats-wise, percentage-wise, that's 50%, over 50%. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And a championship to his name as well, the reigning champion. And he's putting it all right tonight, isn't he? If he can pick up a win here this evening and another meeting at home tomorrow, this is... you know, this is could be a defining moment in the championship chase for Smarslik if he can make 2 finals. Certainly the favourite to win this evening now.
Madsen's won 3 of the 7 finals he's appeared in before now. Bartosz is the highest average Grand Prix rider before tonight, 11.80 is Grand Prix average over 50 meetings. And
it's fantastic,
superb
average, that, and consistency at the very highest level, not easily done. Woofenden's going to be very frustrated to have missed out when he beat Smarslik in Heat 19. You just sense that Woofy and him were going to go right down to the wire here in the final tonight, but that stunning move from Doyle in the semi-final put play to the chances of Woofenden and Janowski. They're both going to be in it still. This is going to be very tight, and tomorrow's going to be really exciting because they're going to be so tightly bunched at the top of the table in the championship chase. And tomorrow is going to be so important to keep that momentum going. Star Grozow, very proud fans in the stadium. Great to see them. And it'd be great to see full stadiums, of course, but...
well, for us British fans, it's good to see fans in stadiums full stop.
Exactly right, and it's super to see
Let's not go there, eh?
No, it's not looking too good at the moment, but certainly out in Eastern Europe, they are allowing a certain... I think it's about 25% of the capacity of the stadium, so there is quite an atmosphere. So that's good news. One big race to come where the big points are handed out. Can't wait.
Yeah, going to be a good one, this one. And fans are up for it.
Livened up, isn't it? The semi-finals really livened it up.
It's been a good meeting. There's been some good speedway, for sure. Here's Doyley in the white helmet colour. Can he take a victory?
You can't rule him out.
No.
He knows what it takes to win. He's won from... I remember a few years ago, he won from Gate 4 in Prague. Nobody had won a race from Gate 4 all night. And in the final, I remember Greg Hancock was in the inside. And Greg made a really good start on the inside, but Doyley did him. And so he is capable of producing some magic when he needs to. Big final lineup, Nige.
Yep, it is indeed. Looking forward to this one. Great way to round off what has been an entertaining night at the Edward Jansart Stadium in Grozow. And a reminder, more to come tomorrow night. Back-to-back Grand Prix Speedway. Brilliant. Grand final on the way. Here we go with the grand final. It's Bartosz Marszlik from the inside gate, then Leon Madsen off 2, Jason Doyle going off gate number 3, and Freddie Lindgren, a model of consistency, is off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. A big, big final.
Yeah,
Tomorrow night we'll be going towards the halfway stage of the World Championship for 2020. Can the hometown hero Bartosz Marszlik collect his 6th win in 7 outings tonight?
He can. I think there's a danger coming from the outside in Lindgren. With the dirt on the outside, Lindgren might be able to utilise that in the first corner and get the momentum to try and swoop or even tuck to the inside going down the back straight to dive bomb him going into turn 3. Really interesting race this. Big race indeed.
It is, and the green light is on and away from the start. Doyle made a good one off gate number 3. Goodness me, he's got his chopping gloves on there, but Marszlik comes through now. Bartosz Marszlik has the lead, and the home fans are jumping up and down with delight here. Doyle is second in the white helmet colour. Lindgren is going to switch up the inside now. Lindgren and Madsen battling away, but Doyle holding on to second place. Madsen's going high and wide into the dirt, but he's adrift in the 4th place now. But what about this from Bartosz Marszlik? Doyle's got pace.
He has indeed. The Australian brilliant away from the start. Gate 3 working a treat for him, but Marszlik held that inside line and was able to get himself to the front. Doyle suddenly has got that bike working and he's riding brilliantly in second place, turning his fortunes around. Doyle's coming on strong. There's a lap to go. Can the Australian win here again in the Edward Jansart Stadium? Down the back straight, Nige.
Well, he's going to try the inside cut. Marszlik spots him. Now Doyle on the inside. Marszlik's in the dirt. Down to the line they go. Marszlik just hangs on.
What a race to finish the night. Marszlik wins, gets the 20 points, but what a race from Doyle. Doyle very nearly stole the win away. Fabulous respect between the two world champions. Marszlik's had a crash. Congratulating Doyle. But that was some speedway race again now. Jason Doyle suddenly finding the pace, the speed. Oh, fabulous moment.
Well done.
Freddie Lindgren just missing out as well.
Yeah.
Bartosz Marszlik clearly delighted, but what a race. And I'll tell you what, he was a touch fortunate there in the end, Nigel, because Jason Doyle rode a brilliant final.
Well, I'll tell you what, where has Doyley found that from? Absolutely sensational, but nothing away from Bartosz Marszlik, winner of the 2020 Enia Grozow FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, round 3 of the World Championship. Bartosz Marszlik the winner, Jason Doyle second, Freddie Lindgren was third, and Leon Madsen 4th.
Well, that was a fitting final. Smashing way to finish the night. The hometown boy, of course, coming out on top there. Absolutely delighted with that. He's got himself right in the thick of the action for the championship as well. And 47 World Championship points. I think Janowski still might lead the World Championship, actually, on 48, but we'll do some maths a little bit later on. Gate 3, though, what a start from Jason Doyle. Runs a little bit wide. Marszlik hugs the inside, there's no short, bounces off the fence, nearly breaks his bike in half as he goes down the back straight, as he clouds the fence. But Doyle, as you said, Nige, where's he found this from? It was certainly missing in Wrocław. And then the last few races, he's really turned on the style and the pace, and it looks like his old self. Freddie Lindgren working hard in 3rd place. But as the longer the race went on, I'll tell you what, the more encouraged Jason Doyle was. He had the pace, he very nearly did him here, and he got up the inside of him. And now as they come out of here, he comes to the inside. Bartosz knows that he's under all sorts of pressure, a bit of contact as they go into the last corner, squeezed up as they come out of turn 4, and the charge to the line, and Marszlik just about hangs on. Proper speedway race, smashing way to finish the night. It's been a really good Grand Prix, and Bartosz Zmarzlik, the world champion, will be a touch relieved to have won tonight, Nige.
Yep, it's only the fact that he's out in the dirt, that he's got the drive, that enables him to maintain the lead there. That is brilliant. And look at how close Doyle got.
Two world-class riders really going
yeah.
at it, putting on a masterclass for us again. Zmarzlik knows he's a touch lucky. He's delighted, relieved as well, but his championship is right
Just
on
watch
track.
this. Just watch this. Oops.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Can you imagine if that had have happened and he broke his collarbone?
Oh, that would have been awful.
Oh, mate.
It wouldn't have been deserved. But he's a touch embarrassed, but he doesn't care now because he's won the night. He's got the 20 points. 18 World Championship points for Doyle.
Brilliant.
And Freddie Lindgren, I'll tell you what, 16 for him in third place. He's hanging in there. He moves on.
Consistency.
I'll tell you what, it's very tight at the top. Very tight.
Which is great. It's what we want. Zmarzlik 20, Doyle 18, Lindgren 16 and Madsen 14.
I think there's just 1 point between the top three.
Yep.
I think Janowski's on 48,
yes,
47 right. for Zmarzlik and 46 for Lindgren.
Brilliant. Let's hear from the winner. Bartosz Zmarzlik, the local hero. Let's get some reaction from him.
Bartosz, congratulations. Tonight was your night. Bartosz Zmarzlik, our Grozow winner.
Hello, everyone. This is unbelievable night and everything so good working. Big thank you for my team and sponsor. And everyone fans, because you're were the best. I living in the Grozow and I feeling in here so the best. And thank you very much. And I must going to my home, to my bed, good sleep, and because tomorrow new day.
Congratulations, Bartosz.
Thank you very much.
Yep, brilliant. Bartosz Zmarzlik, congratulations. Sleep well. He's off to bed now.
Well, he's going to sleep in his own bed, so he's going to be delighted about that. Here we see the championship.
That was after round 2.
Sure, and that's
here we go now. 48 Janowski, 47 Zmarzlik, 46 Lindgren, 43 Woofenden. Didn't make the semis, but he's still only 5 off the lead.
And Leguta's
8
well.
off the lead. Yeah, and then there's a bit of a drop down to Leon on 32. Doyle in the top 8 now, and only 1 place off the top 6. How a place in the final can transform your season.
Big night. Big night for Doyle. He'll be chuffed with that, but there's no question it's a huge night for Bartosz Zmarzlik, the reigning world champion, riding at home. He's back again tomorrow after a good night's sleep in his own bed. He'll be pleased about that. His mum, I'm sure, will give him a full English breakfast in the morning, Nige. That'll set him up nicely for the... Well, it's better than the Polish sausage, I tell you. But it's been a good night of Speedway. Doyle return to form is very welcome. No question, Zmarzlik was a favourite coming into tonight, and he delivers. And Freddie Lindgren just quietly going about his business. He's there, he's right there in the championship hunt.
Absolutely. 2 world champions, Doyle and Zmarzlik. And here's the national anthem. Well done, Bartosz Zmarzlik, the reigning world champion, and in the hunt very much for the 2020 world title as well, to retain his world title, and that doesn't happen very often, does it?
Not in the Grand Prix era, no. It's very difficult to do that, to maintain your form throughout, but he's given himself a very good chance, and coming back tomorrow, can he repeat it? You wouldn't put it past him. One of the sponsors, of course. I'm delighted with that. Freddie Lindgren is the danger man, though. Hasn't won, but he's been on the rostrum in all 3 of his Grand Prix so far. So 46 points for Freddie. Brilliant performance from him.
Yes.
Woofenden and Artem Laguta will be disappointed, but Janowski, I've got to say, is probably delighted that he still leads the championship. Probably can't quite believe it.
Yes, after failing to make the semi-finals. Absolutely. Jason Doyle, well, after his first couple of rides tonight, in fact, his first 3 rides, which was 0-2-1.
Wow.
Who would have thought that he'd been stood on the rostrum in runners-up position tonight? Funny old sports speedway, isn't it?
Well, you know, the reward now, all of a sudden, he's in 7th in the top 8. And another big night tomorrow, and suddenly the top 6 is well on for him.
Well, when you look at it as well, Kel, Doyley scored 8 points, 2 for the semi-final. That was effectively 10 points. He's gone into the final, finished second, and he's got 18 points.
Wow.
He's gained like Freddie did in round 1.
Huge move from Jason Doyle. But he did ride brilliantly in the 2. And that semi-final one was a heck of a lineup. And to beat Woofenden and Janowski, to go through with Smarslik was a great ride. Smarslik, of course, and the Poles here will be delighted with his performance. 2 Polish winners so far in the Grand Prix. The second round in Wrocław, and here tonight with Smarslik, so the Poles are going well again.
Yes, and here comes the customary podium selfie shot, I think.
What do you think? Do you think he can do it again? I think
yes.
He can. I think he's that sort of guy that will come back, you know. He knows that he's got to do it all again tomorrow. He's already mentioned that to Kiri on the interview, so I'm sure he'll come back fully focused and refreshed to do it all again tomorrow. Not easy to come back. It's tough mentally as well as physically doing Grand Prix, so congratulations all 3 of them. They've ridden very well indeed. It was a smashing way to finish the night. Terrific final.
Was indeed, and we're back tomorrow, of course, for another 23 races of Super Speedway Grand Prix action. Congratulations, Bartosz Smarslik. And restricted capacity tonight, but the Grozow fans making plenty of noise, that's for sure. And it's time for the pictures. So, terrific stuff from Smarslik. Kelv, just sum up your thoughts at the end of round 3.
Well, I think the Speedway's been superb. The first 2 rounds were probably a touch better than this one, but still, this was a strong Grand Prix. No surprise to see the world champion winning on his home track, but you still got to do it. And the championship chase is well and truly on. It's going to be tough right through to the last meeting in Torun. Great stuff.
Yeah, and this is where the back-to-back works really well, because I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about coming back and doing it again tomorrow, Kel.
Yeah, absolutely right. And there's no question that the back-to-back Grand Prix, I'd be sad if they were dropped now. I really enjoy them. So it'll be interesting to see what the powers that be make of that. But there's no question it's exciting to think we're going to see it all again tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your time tonight, Kelv. Good work as ever.
Thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow night. And thanks for watching and enjoying the action tonight. We'll bring you highlights package very shortly before we go. And we'll see you again tomorrow night. Grand Prix Speedway made a welcome return to the city of Grozow in Poland for round 3 of the FIM World Speedway Championship. Thankfully, the weather was good, track conditions were good, and the crowd were inside, albeit with a restricted amount of ticket numbers for this event. After the opening 2 rounds in Wrocław a couple of weeks earlier, Maciej Janowski was the series leader, but we know how things can change so quickly. Patrick Dudek suffering a crash very early on. He did get up, did go in the rerun, and then tried again in his second heat, but unfortunately for Patrick, had to withdraw from the rest of the meeting as the discomfort just got worse and worse. Will he be ready for round number 4 24 hours later? We'll find out. Drama all the way. Jason Doyle doing well to avoid coming off on a couple of occasions, and Doyle struggling again in the early stages. Martin Vasilik riding quite nicely, but obviously hometown hero Bartosz Smarslik was a man who was in tip-top form on his own track and really was carving up the opposition. Some inconsistent displays, and a couple of riders really had to dig deep towards the end to save their evening, but Smarslik was unstoppable. That was until he met Ty Woofenden in his final and 5th ride of the qualifying heats, when Woofenden just got the better of him. Jason Doyle transformed his evening. He got 3 points from 3 rides, but then managed to scrape through to the semi-finals on 8. And that was a real boost to the 2017 World Champions Series. Freddie Lindgren, a model of consistency once again. He went through to the semi-finals as well. As we say, Dudek's bike being packed away. And as we say, it remains to be seen whether he will be back for round 4. Semi-final picks. And semi-final 1 was a win for Bartosz Smarslik ahead of Matsej, ahead of Jason Doyle, with Ty Woffen in 3rd and Matsej Janowski out the back. Leon Madsen won the semi-final 2, and then in the final it was the hometown hero Bartosz Smarslik who wins round 3 of the 2020 FIM World Speedway Championship.
What a day. Gotta sweat it out. Let the pressure out. Push on. Come on. Tomorrow, bring it on. Ion 4 Hydration. Powerade.
Are you ready for the ultimate boss battle with Bowser? Go, Lego Mario, go! Lego Super Mario!
Lego Mario included in starter course. Other sets sold separately. Batteries not included.
I've been preparing for this moment my entire life.
What?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like it a lot.
When talking about the future, there's definitely a lot of questions that jump to mind.
You don't know what's going to happen, so I guess there's a little bit of anxiety surrounding that.
I've just been feeling quite scared about where things are going for me in the future.
You don't want to seek out support when you feel like you're a burden. Take a risk and see what comes of it. You know, you've got nothing to lose in reaching out to people.